Viewers, and welcome to the AWSCO Windows Cup Series broadcast. We are continuing the playoffs, and we move west to Oregon Speedway, a unique intermediate style track that will certainly provide quite a bit of a show. I am Madison, and alongside me in the booth for the time being is Ellie, and we have quite the things to talk about. What would you say is probably one of the biggest storylines here today?
Well, the biggest storyline is how the drivers are going to perform here and how that's going to affect their playoff positions. When we were here in the Continental Series, the race here was actually quite dramatic in terms of what changed in the playoffs to the Continental field. So I expect the same to happen in this race for the Cup field.
Definitely, for sure. And with the playoffs continuing forward, I believe we have entered a new round as well. Certainly some fresh slates that need to be written up for these to continue. Some drivers fighting back in the standings. How do you think this could develop as we go along?
As we go along in this race, I definitely expect some desperation to come from some of the drivers who are like on that borderline spot of, hey, you made it into round 2, but you didn't perform that great into round 1, so you've got to really get your, I guess, act together, so to speak, in terms of racing performance and how much points you're going to get here. So I think we'll see some of the drivers who placed more towards just getting in or didn't perform the best in round 1, probably trying to do a little better this race. I mean, that's just a given.
Absolutely. Let's talk about some of those drivers a little bit. Like you have, of course, the cut line has been pretty much reset, so points don't really mean much right now. But we can look at the qualifying lineup and see, it's very mixed as far as drivers. Not many playoff drivers starting near the front, but plenty in the midfield and quite a few at the back as well. So quite a bit to worry about, especially for those below the cut line, like Abby Little and Taylor Happeman, Yania Waterton, several others who are sort of below that cut line or just above it, being further in the back.
Yeah, that is definitely something to watch out for, especially for those drivers. Now, I will say some of these tracks, we have seen Cup drivers and Continentals drivers both qualify towards the back, and they show up in the middle of the race, and they end up having a really good race. It could just be some sort of strategy thing. They want to avoid some of the bigger crashes in the beginning, or they just didn't qualify well, and they ended up actually picking up the pace middle of the race. So some of the drivers down here, I expect to just stay where they are. I guess Yania Waterton, I don't really see her doing that great here. It's not one of her more so best performing style of tracks, but there are plenty of drivers who qualified more towards the back who I would not be surprised to see them in the middle of the race kind of come out and definitely perform pretty well.
Yeah, this is a great point you bring up as we look toward this race and talk about the track a little bit. This track a bit unique, somewhat asymmetrical 1.5 mile oval. You really don't see many of those anymore. Got pretty high banking and some pretty high speeds in the Continental cars, even faster in the cars for the Cup Series here. In fact, let's talk about the fastest drivers, Adi Stoneman and DiGabriele Abriella, who actually tied in qualifying with a time of 28 seconds and 56 milliseconds. Of course, Stoneman getting the pole by tiebreaker, but certainly some very fast cars around here.
Certainly, and with the way this track is shaped, right? It's a pill-shaped oval. We haven't really seen ovals like this in AWSCO that much. So the kind of thing I've been noticing here in terms of qualification and how the drivers performed in Continental the other day, it's that the track is kind of a new experience for a lot of drivers. So I think what we're really going to be seeing here is drivers who are good at ovals, who aren't qualifying the best, more towards like the middle, like Azar Saraz. She's really good at ovals, but she's more towards the middle, row 11 actually. Arinya Tosma doesn't shock me though. She's good at most oval style tracks. Doesn't matter the shape or size. She's really solid at ovals, so Arinya Tosma on the inside of row 4 is not very shocking to me.
He seated pretty high in these playoffs too. The only driver 3 points above the cut line, which once again, doesn't really mean that much given that the spread from Tosin at the top of the stack to Nihil at the bottom is a whopping 4 points. But after this race, that could mean a lot. And again, qualifying is a great place to start. But as you mentioned, we could see drivers go up a bit further from the back toward the front. That would be critical, especially for some of those drivers below the cut line that we mentioned. In fact, as we look at our cut line and put it alongside the qualifying results, we can see that all 5 drivers below the cut line are starting within the last 5 rows. Isn't that something?
Yeah, it's a very interesting thing to look at, and I'm not sure if if it has to do with, again, this style of oval is just very different from the ovals we've seen our drivers race in a Cup or Continental. So I think it could maybe have to do something with that, or it could also be some sort of strategy. Again, that has been something kind of interesting we've seen happen before, where a lot of the playoff drivers tended to qualify in the back, and then they ended up coming out in the middle or the front of the race by the time it was 30, 40 laps to go. So I will definitely be paying attention to the drivers who qualified closer to the back, because they could make an interesting story today.
We've made this point quite a few times before throughout the playoffs and earlier in the season, but it tends to be the case that sometimes a crew chief will decide to focus more on the long run for a car and sacrifice immediate speed, whilst some would prefer to have the better qualifying speed and the sort of short run advantage. So I guess the philosophy is, do we expect to see more passing and a better long run car prevail, or do we expect to see more drivers hold their ground and have a shorter run car prevail? What do you think that could look like, especially based on the Continental race?
Well, I think the car that's going to pull away here and definitely do the best, it's going to be a long run car. We didn't really see short run cars do great in the Continental race here. A really good example was actually Davenport, right? She's usually always really fast. Any oval, doesn't matter the shape, right? But her car definitely seemed to me seemed to be better on the short runs, and she tried to even overcut the pit cycle, and it didn't work for her because her car just wasn't set up for the long run. And so I definitely could see some of the cars, even the cars qualifying more towards the back, who have their cars set up for a long run, perform better.
I definitely agree with that, and we do have some lesser players starting near the front, so it is already a very mixed up grid. Of course, we mentioned Stoneman and Gabriella, and I guess we'll look at some of where our playoff drivers are starting. The highest of those being Jan Fianaga, who is 1 point above the cut line heading into this race. And then we have Andre Davison on row 3, starting 6th. Irina Tosima starting on row 4 on the inside in 7th position. Those are the only 3 drivers starting in the top 10. So I think the idea among most of the playoff teams and drivers is to develop that to have that long run car and then just go through the race gradually, rather than just focusing all in at once on qualifying and having a short run car.
Well, yeah, that's the thing here. This track is actually not too bad for passing. You can make passes here, but the issue is that the short run cars just don't really get anywhere here. The top lane is decently useful. The bottom lane is just about the same. This track is very unique, and the braking as well is a little bit harsher than I would say on some of the other ovals, which is why I feel the short run car just doesn't really get you that far in terms of track position, and track position is always very important. So I definitely think the big story of this race is you're going to see a long run car do good. I don't know if that's a big story, but that's going to be the main story coming out of this.
Strategically, do you think that we could see more of a undercut or an overcut prevail? Because I think generally with where it's harder to pass, you would want the overcut because you have the fresher tires earlier, and you're gonna have more trouble getting others past you later. But I think maybe on long runs, the overcut could be a very legitimate strategy if you can pass more cars. What do you think?
Well, yeah, I actually agree there. I think the long run, whether you're overcutting or undercutting, is the way to go, right? So if you want to play to that overcut and you want to stay out a little longer and not have to pit as early as other drivers, that could work here, especially if you have a long run car. That could just put you at a clear, obvious advantage. So I think we'll definitely see long run cars try to overcut, and I think we'll definitely see short run cars try to overcut, because the overcut here is just it's a good tactic. Now, it doesn't really work for the short run cars, but they'll try it anyway.
Absolutely, yeah. I'm definitely glad I'm not on that pit box because it would be quite difficult to be a crew chief in these sorts of series and this type of pressure. But let's look at some of the drivers on sort of a hot streak entering in, because in that first round we had a variety of different tracks. We had the short track in North Wilkesboro. We had Kansas, which is possibly the most similar track to this in the playoffs so far, in an intermediate, and of course Watkins Glen Road course. Of course, it was Hałas winning that Kansas race, which admittedly was quite messy because of the large wreck that happened. But do you think some of the same players that we saw up near the front at Kansas before the chaos hit could be seen here at Oregon?
Oh yeah, of course. Now this track it's different from Kansas, but it's probably the most comparable track. So I definitely could expect the drivers who performed really well in Kansas to perform decently well here. I don't really see any reason that they wouldn't, other than the fact that this track is very complex and different in comparison to the other ovals they've driven on.
Absolutely. Is there anything more that you'd like to discuss before we hand things over to the booth?
I think that clears a bit of everything that we wanted to touch on in this pre-race show. I'm excited to see the drivers hit the track.
Me too. All I'm going to say is enjoy this race, and we will be handing it over to the booth with our usual lead commentator and a special guest. Take it away, guys.
And welcome to the Oregon International Speedway for the 34th race of the season, the first race of the second round of the playoffs. It's the Pacific Office Automation 500. We're going to go 329 laps around this 1.522 mile racetrack. I'm here at the Oregon Speedway joined by hometown guest Brennan. It's your first race here seeing these cars. I think your last time here was at Sonoma. So I'm glad to have you back, and what do you think we might expect from these cars tonight, especially considering what we saw last night in the Continental race?
Thank you, Echo. It is my first time here in a while, so I kind of have to refresh myself. But I am quite familiar with this racetrack, as I was half the reason why this track exists. So I've seen a lot of races here. It's very bottom line dependent, although you can definitely get some runs off the top, especially out of turn number 2. You're going to be pretty packed up for the first part of the race, but it will start to get strung out as the longer run goes on. Cautions are definitely going to be a factor. One trouble spot that often happens in these races is the merge into pit lane. A lot of the times cars might not expect the car in front of them to come in and pit. They run each other over. It causes a crash. That's really the most likely trouble spot, but they can wreck really anywhere on the track. I think the pit crew is going to be very important to who wins this race today. You got to have the fast stops, or else you're going to get left behind, and you'll have quite a considerable gap to make up, especially in a longer race like this one.
Yeah, absolutely, and especially considering here, this is a long race, so those pit stops are going to be very important. But you want to also just be careful and be clean. We saw yesterday in the Continental race as well, that top lane can get the run if you just roll it right. We will see if that comes into play today. Let's go through our starting grid. Row 1, we had a tie for the pole. Audie Stoneman and Gabriella both got it. Stoneman got the pole based off of a points tiebreaker. So the 10 car is the one who sits on the pole today here at Oregon. Row 2 is Cinlia Rariston in the 32. Eliminated from the playoffs last week by just a few points. She's alongside Yenfi Yanaga in the 46, winner at Pensacola a few weeks ago, a similarly shaped racetrack, but not particularly a similarly racing track. Row 3, it's Mika Gennaro. She's alongside Andrea Davison, who just can't stop finishing in the top 10. Davison hasn't finished outside the top 20 since Rio de Janeiro, which was 11 races ago. She is on a hot streak. Row 4, Irina Tosima, 4-time winner this season, enters this round the highest seed once again. Despite not having the greatest of first rounds, she's alongside Rachel Cole. Row 5 is the 72 Janet Parkings, and the 15 Fabrizia Tolerone. Row 6 is Lowry Schliesenbach in the 8 car, alongside the 1 of Alicia Vancy. Row 7 is the 38, Youngwei Koo. She's alongside the 23 of Yappy Malikson. Row 8, the 92, Michele Yatica. Alongside the 34 of Mika Harina, who won at Motegi, which is a track I actually I could see this race playing out pretty similar to. Row 9, the 18, Perry Alicantes, winner at North Wilkesboro, alongside the 91 of Alicia Byrne. Row 10, the 3 of Mimi Barino, is alongside the 55 of Ria Delad, just squeaked into this round. She tied with her teammate Angeli Rigatino on points. Delad had the better finish by virtue of countback. She just barely got in with that 8th place at Watkins Glen compared to Rigatino's 14th. Row 10 is the 98, Eva Ajarsaraj, who just barely squeaked in at Watkins Glen, alongside the 62, Halis Jukovic, who won at Kansas. Row 12, the 2 of Izzy Javida, and the 64, Jocelyn Nihale. The one driver who will enter this round with 0 extra points. Row 13, the 21, Amani Wandayo, and the 6 of Jamie McJasmina. 2 drivers who actually have seen this track before in the LSCI. Row 14, the 26 of Sophie Chantaze, and the 19, Arlen Handstrom. Row 15, the 96, Angeli Rigatino, is alongside the 82 of Katrin Edelstein. Row 16, the 71, Abby Little, and the 99 of Marisha Vebels. Row 17 is the 17 of Pace Laniria, who won last week in Watkins Glen in a shocker, alongside the 27 of Nietzsche Garnston. Row 18, the 39, Lily Talberson. She starts alongside her teammate Carly Byrne. Row 19, the 13 of Yania Waterton, and the 60 of Amory Wesco. And row 20, the 31 Taylor Haveman, alongside the 16 of Sky and Jetta. Ozark Motorsports 1-2 last week at Watkins Glen, but this is a very different racetrack. We're going to see there's going to be a lot of challenges. I want to ask you, Brennan, what is the biggest key to winning this race as these cars get ready to get fired?
Well, you're going to be... You're going to be bunched up for a lot of the race. So really, the best way of going about this race is just keeping calm and making sure that you're running your own race and not getting into any other people's trouble, not over pushing yourself, and just be steady, but also be quick.
There's a lot of wind coming from the north part of the track, 14 miles per hour. They're gusting up to 21, so it's a bit of a windy day here, which is not what we saw yesterday in the Continental race. Stoneman and Abriella will lead them to the green flag. The pace car pulls down. And we are racing at Oregon. And a very good jump for Stoneman off the start here. Abriella did not get going.
There you see that inside line, how it's preferred right here off the start. But again, you can get runs off of turn 2. You're just not going to see that right on the start as the 32 all over the back of the 10 car. The 42 is going to slide up a little bit. That should open the door up for the number 21 of Amani Wandayo.
That's the 22.
Or no, I think that's the 22. That's Andrea Davison.
Correct. That's the thing
They're
we
going
saw.
side by side.
We saw yesterday, oh, they're going 3 wide at some spots, but that's the thing we saw in the Continental race. As the tires were out, that outside lane kind of gets stronger and stronger, and you can make things work. Lowry Schliesenbach is trying to make the middle lane work in between cars, and she's actually making up ground doing it, but that is not very safe or careful, especially at this stage of the race.
You don't want to be doing that on lap 3. You're just so close to each other. There's not a ton of room on this racetrack. There is enough room for 3 wide, but you kind of pinch yourself a little bit in the entry of the corners, especially the ones in the bottom lane, and the 8 car, Schlesenbach's going to get to the inside, and that move ended up working out pretty good for her.
As she slots in, meanwhile, battle for the lead. Here comes Cinlia Rariston in the 32 car. Stoneman led the first couple laps. Now Rariston, the driver from Arizona, is going to take it away, and we're seeing a couple West Coasters duking it out on the West Coast.
Watch that run on the top.
The 10 car, we'll see what she can do on the top lane. especially through 3 and 4 here. This was a good strong point yesterday. And Stoneman sticks to the outside. Rariston had it at the line. But with the wind being a lot more aggressive today than it was in the Continental race, that's going to also throw a bit of a wrench in things. Rariston not quite clear for the lead yet. Now she'll get clear.
And another difference in the weather is, I believe, it's clear out today, and I don't think it was in the amateur race. I'm LSCI brained right now. The Continental race.
Correct.
So that's going to make the track a little bit more slick than it was last time, and so less grip, of course. Davison and Tosama have taken over second and third as Stoneman fades on the outside lane. The 22 is going to try and go up high. That's going to leave the door open for the 93 and also the 38 of Young Wei Koo.
Yeah, Koo's getting up here. Here comes Mimi Barrino in the 3 car. But in the Continental race, it was cloudy out, and the temperature, it was a little bit cooler, actually, in the Continental race. It was about 64 degrees Fahrenheit. It's actually 70 degrees, so not a terribly noticeable difference, but because it's clear out, the sun's beating down on the track, that's going to make it a lot slicker and a lot more difficult to drive.
Koo is going for second.
Yes, she is.
It's a good run for that 38 car.
Good run for the 93 on the top line, though.
Yeah, there's more help on the bottom when we go through the corner, and that's really going to play more of a factor than any amount of run that anybody gets.
Yep.
Because it is still very drafting dependent. It's kind of almost like it's designed after old Atlanta, like before it was a trial bowl. But it races a little bit like new Atlanta in some points, although they can string themselves out more than that. Here comes Mimi Barrino going for second. The 38 shoots up the track. That's going to be an easy pass for Barrino. Move her into second. Alicia Byrne also trying to make her way through on the inside lane. The 38 gets stuck on the outside. And all that momentum's down there on the bottom. They're going to be 3 wide. Stoneman gets put 3 wide on the top. Never mind, they file back down to 2.
See, that's the thing here. You know, you say it runs a lot like New Atlanta, but it also does get strung out quite... It gets strung out, and it gets strung out pretty evidently.
Oh, my
so
goodness,
here
the
comes
2.
Ijavada. They're going 3 wide. Finished second at Kansas. I'm not sure finishing second at Kansas was much of an accomplishment, considering how much of the field got taken out in that race.
Hey, as long as you're there at the end, that's all that counts.
That's true. Byrne trying to fight with Barrino. This is the one Ford car that didn't make the playoffs at all, Alicia Byrne. And I know she's probably kicking herself over that, but she is at least joined in the Ford camp by a couple others who have been knocked out and are just trophy racing at this point.
Well, that number 2 is getting very close to the back of Alicia Byrne. Gonna push her into second.
Rariston has gotten away a little bit.
Claiming that spot herself.
Rariston's gotten away a little bit.
She's been able to manage a gap over these guys, although that was not a great corner for Rariston, and Byrne's going to have a big run down the back straightaway, so we might see a move made here soon, and all of a sudden that gap is gone. That's how quickly you can build a gap and then lose it. Just one slow corner, and they're right back on you.
I think as well, what benefited the 91, they got single file behind her. These cars, when they get double file, it seems like they just lose it, but once they single file out...
the 22's going up the middle. And she's going to get... No, she had a bad entry. It looked like she was going to get both those spots, but just checked up in the corner, and she's going to have to fall back behind them.
I think she thought better of it. Better not to risk it here. Considering, if you consider the run that Davison has been on, hasn't finished outside the top 20 in 11 races, which is a streak that is pretty much unheard of. Her worst finish since those... her worst finish in those 11 races is 17th. Her second worst is 13th. Her third worst is 10th. She has 9 top 10s in the last 11 races.
Yeah, that's a crazy stat. And Davison, of course, looking to keep that streak going. Got a little bit hairy behind there, but here we go. Up at the front, Mimi Barrino.
The driver from Fremont, California. Tries to get to the front. Succeeded at the line. And she'll get clear of Ariston off turn 2.
That was a good move by Barrino to get the lead. Now Rariston's going to have to try and fight back, although Barrino's going to go up the track.
Slipped
That's
way
gonna
up.
give Rariston an opportunity.
She slipped
Yeah,
up
just
quite a
way
bit.
too much gas in it. And now Rariston's going to get back under. I've seen the last amateur race I did here. I believe it was Lance Holman that lost the race that way on the final lap to Alnita Kim. So that corner, you got to make sure that you don't get on the gas too much and slide up the track, because it could be costly, and it just cost Mimi Barrino the lead there.
Hey, we saw a last lap pass in the Continental race, too, with Bridget Brosseau taking it away from Cassidy Jones. Nobody thought Brosseau would get there until she did. We're just going to ignore the giant elephant in that room, though.
Those are two drivers that raced on this track before the Continental race, too, so they had a bit of experience there.
Yep. And there's a couple drivers in this field that have raced on this track before. Not just...
Amani Huandayo definitely has. There she is.
Amani Wandayo raced here. Raisha Vebelst has run here in the past. She's kind of running at the back. I think McJasmine has. Katrin Edelstein definitely has, because she ran in the Continental race yesterday.
I don't think McJasmine was in the Oregon race last
Yeah,
year.
okay.
But here comes Barrino for the lead.
Again.
3 wide behind Alicia Byrne. Oh, they're making contact. The 2 and the
Rugatino.
96.
Rugatino and Yachavida got away with that.
And that all started because the 32 checked up in the middle of the corner. The 2 was trying not to hit her, and they just ran into each other. But thankfully, no accident off of turn 4 there. That is the spot where you see accidents happen sometimes. And because the front stretch is so narrow and you've got that pit wall down there, that could really bottle up the whole field if you crash right there. So good job by both of them to save it and prevent anything worse from happening. And now they're 3 wide behind for 5th. The 26 tried to take a look and backed off into 1.
Yeah, Sophie Jantese had a bit of a look there, but decided better of it. Mimi Moreno got the lead back, but she's now being challenged by Alicia Byrne. That Mercedes out front.
Up here.
That Mercedes of Barrino out front. Her teammate at the very back, Yania Waterton. That is pretty much the exact opposite of where they would like those cars to be, I would assume.
You know, Waterton's the one that's competing for the championship.
Yeah. You know, you go towards the back. I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of these cars are sticking back here. Yeah, Stoneman's kind of gotten shuffled way back. I think a lot of it is getting stuck on the top lane. Can't find that hole to get into. But also, we're seeing a lot of these cars having trouble keeping the handle. That's one thing that I noticed in the Continental race. You have to have a good handling car. And especially with the wind here today, that handling is going to be all over the place.
Yeah, the wind, the slick track, and just the general nature of this track, handling is very important at this particular racetrack. And you'll notice that they are more strung out than they were not too long ago. A lot more single file going on 20 laps into the race. Not to say that there isn't any action going on, because there's plenty of it.
Oh, no.
For second here, as Rariston's going for the second position, but they are a bit more strung out, more like a typical mile-and-a-half race than a pack race, although they are definitely still kind of grouped together in that pack. But
well, as the tires wear.
Yeah, it's mainly the tire wear there. They're at the point where they can slip up a little bit and not really cause any brouhahas there. Here comes Brugatino going to the inside for second.
I know she's got to be mad after last week. Lost the final spot by finishing 14th. She finished 5/1000ths of a second behind Rachel Cole, and that knocked her out of the playoffs.
And that's a tough deal.
But she's hungry. She's got the rest of the season to at least go trophy hunting, and she's battling with Celia Rariston, another driver who got knocked out last week, actually. You know, in the Continental race, we saw a lot of playoff drivers leading early. We saw several playoff drivers that got laps led. We haven't seen a single one lead today. Closest we have to the front right now is Tosima in that 93 car. She's sitting 5th at the moment.
'64 and the 34 are really the only other two that I see anywhere near the front right now. So
Yeah.
a lot of the playoff drivers not off to the greatest of starts here, but
96
maybe saving their stuff.
trying
for
to get to
later.
the inside, but the 32's using the outside now. We're starting to see that outside lane kick in a little bit. And I think as the
fellow
day
Ford pushing her.
as the day goes on, you're gonna see that outside lane is gonna kind of groove in, especially on worn tires.
Wear out. Well, yeah, when the tires wear out a little bit more, it's harder to kind of cut down right along the white line, like you could before. So you'll see a lot more drivers opt to go for that top side and get that run off of 2. It's going to be a lot more powerful, and even off of 4 sometimes, as Rugatino is going to try and pass Barrino for the race lead. But Barrino's going to hold her off for now.
Yeah, Barrino's got a good hold on the high side. Mercedes, Ford, Honda, Mercedes, Ford, Mercedes, excuse me. Although that is another Honda that's battling with Tosima. And then there's a Chevy behind them in Amani Wandayo, who's actually made up quite a bit of ground since the start of this race.
Yeah, again, that past experience definitely helping out Wandayo here as she's put herself in the 7th position. Janet Parkings runs the corner really wide, and there's a train of cars looking to try and pass her, but she's probably going to hold them off for now.
Rugatino
Oh, the
just
26
got the
got
lead. Rugatino just got the lead from Barrino. That 96 car did lead at the line, but here comes Cinlia Rariston now to maybe make a battle out of this. There's a hometown driver, Sky Jetta. She started dead last, 40th place. She's moved up to 18th. She needs a good run.
She's from Eugene, right?
Yes, as the 18 of Alacantes is on pit road.
Well, that's not good.
That is a playoff driver. That is very big, especially because she managed to win her way into this round. So she has not had to work as hard the last 2 weeks.
Wonder if maybe a tire went down or something on the 18 car.
We'll have to see. Seeing Barrino get a big run up the high side in turn 4.
Wow. Yeah, I didn't know that the high lane was as effective off of turn 4 than it was off turn 2, but Barrino just proved me otherwise. She's been working the high side really well in this race.
She has. She's looked like the car with the biggest fight up there. So far, at least. Ellie, what you got on Alacantes?
Yeah, I'm down here in pit road, and I'm hearing from her pit chief that a tire did end up going down on that car. She said she felt something off, and then it just went down on her, so very unfortunate.
And Alacantes has fallen a lap down because of that. And this track, well, yesterday we started the race with a 150-lap green flag run. So it's going to be hard to get your lap back via a lucky dog here.
Oh, right on the quarter panel of the 32, Rugatino wants the lead back.
She gave her a little bump there in the corner. I'm not sure you want to do that at a track
Just a
like
little
this.
bit.
But
I don't even know if she touched her. Might have just upset the air on the quarter panel by running close to it, but it worked.
she's got it.
Just
Well,
a little bit.
I
just
don't
a
know
little
if
bit
she's
of
got
air
it yet.
push.
I don't know if she's got it yet. That 32 is up on the high side. Meanwhile, Abby
36 has
Little,
the help though.
in the 9th spot. She started 31st. She's climbed up through quite a bit of the field. Abby Little just always seems to turn it up when there's pressure. Got that win in Michigan. Didn't really do a lot throughout the remainder of the season, except for the in-season tournament, and through the first few races of these playoffs, she has looked fairly solid.
Yeah, when the cards are down, Abby Little is probably one of the best drivers you want behind the wheel. She definitely has the clutch gene for sure.
Absolutely. Still have not seen a playoff car lead a lap today. You see back here, there's hometown driver in Jeddah, once again, battling for 12th with Janet Parkings from Massachusetts, the other city they might have named Portland after. She's from Boston. Here's Amani Wandayo trying to get around Arena Tosima. In the 5th car, or in the 5th position, she will take that away. Abby Little attempting to make some moves. Rugatino kind of gets a little bit of a pull on the corner here, but you don't really want to rev it up too hard into 3 and 4. This is Mimi Verino, Cynthia Rariston fighting for that 3rd spot. Abby Little has moved up to 6th. She's gotten clear of Mika Harina and Arena Tosima, who's been dropped well back. She's dropped actually behind the 20 of DeGabby Gabriella. That's a 9th spot now, as Jetta looks to make the move 3 wide into turn, going into turn number 1 with Shantaze and Ijavida. They're pretty lucky to get away with that. Although
The worst end of that, as Harina continues to gain positions here during this run, that car has come alive definitely as the run has gone on.
Absolutely. Mika Harina has also looked fairly strong. Again, remember, she won at Motegi. The last few times we've gone to the West Coast, she's... Well, I guess the last few times we've gone to somewhere on the Pacific Ocean coast, she has done fairly solidly. Because she won at Motegi, she won at Vancouver.
I remember she was running pretty good at the Las Vegas race, if I'm not mistaken.
She was. She almost won that race. Although I'm not really sure I'd count Las Vegas as Pacific Coast.
It's kind of close. It's not that much. It's not that much further away from the coast than Woodburn, Oregon, is where this track is.
Fair enough. I just don't think of Nevada as a coastal state, really.
That's fair. It doesn't touch the coast, but you know it's close enough. And Harina's gonna go into 2nd.
She is going to get by Barino. She's got Little following her. And you're seeing the top 10. The top 10 is changing quite a lot, but it isn't looking like, you know, a particularly... I mean, the draft's going to be important, as Jetta takes them 3 wide again. The draft's important here, but also it is very much strung out. It's not... it's very much about having a fast car and not about playing the draft right.
I did not like how close the 21 and 16 were getting, and they're getting close again! Oh my goodness. Another close call off of turn 4.
Got away with it. Still 3 wide, but they just put a different car there.
I can't imagine the 21's going to be all that happy with the 16. Doored her off at turn 2, doored her off the backstretch, and then doored her again in turn 3. And they're going to be 3 wide again. This time, no contact.
Meanwhile, Abby Little going for 2nd. They still stay 3 wide back here, although they finally sorted it back out to 2. Little going for 2nd on Harina. And they're probably going to be looking to see if they can cut a deal with Rugatino to get a lap lead here, at least for the moment. Because those two, same manufacturer, they're both Fords. But Harina's going to step her nose in there. Yeah, Harina's going to step her nose in there, and she wants the lap lead first.
Hold her off. Barriston going for 4th on the number 26.
For 5th, excuse me. Excuse you. The 3 is actually 4th right now.
I bet the 20 car started on the front row, kind of dropped back off the start, but has found her way back into the top 10. That
Yeah.
number 20 of DeGabby Gabrielle.
You see her teammate as well. Janet Parking's running up here, close to the top 10 as well. How about Yappy Malikson doing a solid job? 17th right now. Started kind of mid-pack. She's kind of climbed up a little bit.
Sky and Jetta looking to make up some spots here.
I saw Harina look for second. She takes it.
Barino's going with her.
And we saw the 96 car as well in the Continental race. Same sponsor, same manufacturer, same team. That car led a good chunk of that race with Lynn Oswell driving. Angeli Rigatino, who's already got 2 wins this season. Might make that much more interesting. As we saw her slow up in the corner, they've kind of pulled up.
Looks like she might get to the inside. She will.
Marino gets there. You might see Abby Little go for it as well.
Slipped up a little bit. She's going to lose momentum.
Rigatino got a big run on the high side, though.
I think Barino's consistently been the best car off of turn number 4. She got a huge run that last time by. But Rigatino's going to be able to hold her off on the outside for now, and that outside's just becoming more and more viable off the corners as the tires wear out.
Yep. And we're going to see pit stops in about 10 or so laps. Somewhere around 55 to 60. That's where the pit window was yesterday. We're going to see that again today, probably. These cars have the exact same fuel tank specifications, so. Abby Little to the inside for second again. And Jetta's trying to make things happen. You see the 2 teammates, the Atlantic teammates fighting. That's Rariston and Harina fighting for 4th place, I believe that is.
Harina got a good run off the corner, but I had nowhere to go with it because the 3 was in front. So
yeah, 3's in her way.
Kind of had to check up, and not as good of a corner there for Harina. 32 is going to get by. 16 might get by as well.
71 got loose.
Up.
She got loose in the corner.
Rariston to the inside.
I think that wind is blowing. I think there's a little bit of a crosswind in turn 4, especially. I think that's what's messing a lot of these cars up.
I've seen a lot of cars getting upset there on that part of the track. We got close to having accidents there a couple of times, but 51 laps and we still had no yellows. So these guys are racing pretty. These girls are racing pretty clean right now. As Jetta's going for 3rd. On Cynthia Rariston. That 16's looking pretty fast here, and she's going to wedge herself underneath the 3 and go for 2nd. Alicia Byrne going with her. Not a whole lot of Toyotas up here, but the 16 is leading the charge for that make, and she might have a shot at the lead here in a second.
I think there'd be a big roar for the crowd if that 16 takes the lead.
Yeah, absolutely. Eugene just down I-5 from Woodburn.
Yep. Not too far. I don't know how many hours it is, but it's not too far.
Well, you got to get through Salem first, and that's easier said than done if my road trip a couple years ago is anything to go off of.
Sounds about right. And Jetta's got clear for 2nd. Alicia Byrne's trying to take 3rd away. It's pretty much been entirely Western United States drivers leading the way today. We saw Stoneman from Long Beach, California. We see Rigatino now, who's from Colorado Springs, Colorado, leading the way. But Sky and Jetta, closest to here that we've seen anybody. And she is closing up on Rigatino quite a bit.
It'd be pretty fun if she did push-ups on the track after she won, like the Oregon Duck does. That'd be a fun celebration.
Yeah.
Team Fleurvent is having a great run so far. Both their cars in this lead pack here. One of them in the top 20, one of them knocking on the top 20, or top 10, I should say. So
yeah.
Just wanted to shout them out. They're having a great run today.
Yeah, Parkings and Abriella both looking very good for Team Fleurvent. That team obviously not running Toyotas next year. They actually announced they were switching to Chevrolet for next season.
And I mentioned there weren't that many Toyotas up here, but there are 4 of them up here in this lead pack, so
Yeah.
it's more than I thought. It's just, I guess, the main Toyota team, Southwest Racing, they haven't really had that good of a season. And only one of their cars are up here, so...
Southwest hasn't really been remarkable for very much all year, aside from that 46 car, I would say. And that 46 is being remarkably bad right now. Actually,
And
both
the
their cars
42.
are being remarkably bad.
And I'm pretty sure the 6 is back there too, somewhere. Yeah.
Yep, there she is. That's where McJasmine is. Meanwhile, their other car is trying to take the lead.
Yep, side by side out of turn number 4.
See if she can lead the
Home
lap.
crowd watching.
She won't have it at the line, but she's got the
Home
corner
crowd
into turn
watching
1.
in anticipation. Good roll through 1 and 2.
Ooh,
Rugatino
Rugatino.
might get a run on the outside.
Bit of a
Not
side
able to
draft.
clear.
Bit of a side draft on the outside lane.
Good charge through 3 and 4 for Ingetta.
I think she'll get
It
it.
looks like she'll clear off the corner.
She's clear. New leader. Sky and Jetta takes it away. Lap 59 at Oregon, but pit stops right on the cusp.
Yeah, I was gonna say we're right on time for pit stops.
But a big roar from the crowd here in Oregon as Sky and Jetta takes the lead away from last to first in just about 60 laps.
Very impressive run early in this race for that 16 car.
And she has looked like a car that can run for the win a lot of the time this season. She's just had some pretty terrible luck all year, really.
There's Barino on that outside lane again.
Yeah, she made it stick. As the 96 is coming
here we
down
go.
pit road.
That should start the cycle.
That will definitely start the cycle. More cars coming down.
And
34.
Harina goes
Harina's
down
in.
too.
I think that's it. Those are the only 2 right now. Oh, 46. And the 39 is stopped on
Tomerson.
the track. That's more trouble for a playoff car.
Is the caution out? No.
No yellow.
Caution. That's a bad break for the number 39 car, the
The other driver from the PNW.
Evans Ross racing car.
Well,
Yeah.
a other driver from the PNW. There's actually another one.
Rayrston's come in, Abby Little's in.
Talbertson is going to have to, well, she's going to have to do some work the next couple weeks.
Yeah, that's not what you want to see, that's for sure.
Well, that's almost everybody coming down except for a good chunk of the leaders. Byrne, Barino,
Jenna's
Abriella,
going along here.
Wandayo, Nihale's in, Yukovic, Dalad, I see Cole, I see Schlesenbach.
It is a bit interesting that the 16 is waiting so long to pit, given how hard she charged in that first run. Oh, that's a teammate. That's gonna affect how she gets into the pits here.
Well, she's not gonna get into the pits here.
She's not gonna get into the pits.
Everybody else behind her
And
is.
everyone else does.
Is
I feel
Javida.
like she was gonna pit, but the 46 kind of got in her way and prevented her from taking the line she wanted, so...
Wow,
just
look
go
at
around
that.
Another time.
Look at these 2 cars running next to each other. Payson Hiria sees her former car right in front of her.
Boy, that's got to be an interesting sight for sure. And now the
16 comes
16's
down now. Yeah, and Jetta's probably going to lose a good chunk of time on track, on this pit stop because she stayed out so long, but she will likely gain a lot of that back via, having a bit fresher tires. We saw this in the Continental race. Having tires was really, really key. We got a lot of changes up at the front. The 2 car, I think, made contact with somebody on pit road. That car has
Ooh.
lost its front bumper. She was running towards the front too.
Yeah, you got a modified out there. Not sure what happened to the 2 car. Possibly a collision in the pit lane during the pit cycle.
Yeah, we'll have to see.
Uh-oh. The 99.
92, 99. These 2 are exiting pit road, I think. Oh, I think the 99 ran it out of fuel, maybe? No? Yes, I think she
coming
did. I
back
think
in.
Vebels ran out of fuel.
But she was in the pits.
Was she?
She was in the pits a couple laps ago. She came
Yeah,
out.
she
She's
was.
coming back in.
Same for the 92.
92 is also coming back in.
17.
Not sure what happened there. I think, you know what? I think they might have merged too early. I saw the 99 kind of halfway up on the racetrack, and so they might be coming in for a penalty because of that.
That could be it. Rigatino well out front. 3-second lead she has right now.
Yeah, that was a great pit sequence for the 96, and of course pitting early.
The 99
definitely
has
helps that,
damage,
and now
actually.
Damage.
Say, I believe the 92 does as well. So I
Maybe
think
they got
that
into each other.
might have been... That could have been where that pit road incident that has left the 2 with no front end.
They could have also, because they exited the pits almost at the same time. They could have also ran into each other leaving the pits.
That is also
and that's
possible.
why the 99 was up on the racetrack.
That's also possibly why we didn't see a caution.
Yeah.
But Rigatino is well out front right now. And Jetta's still managed to cycle out. She managed to get up to second, so she's not doing too bad. I don't think staying out long didn't really affect her that much. She actually gained 4/10 that lap on the 96.
Yeah, she gained a lot of time, and that's a big difference in tires between those two, and also the fact that the 16 has the draft and the 96 doesn't. 39 looks like he's out of the race.
She's out of the race. Talberson is.
And we'll get a report on what that was momentarily.
Oh, Arjaraj and
each other.
Alacantes got into each other.
That's going to be a caution.
That's the yellow.
Watch out, watch
Ooh,
out.
slides down the
watch out.
track. I'm not sure.
Okay, they all get by.
Nobody got into her, and I'm not really sure how. But you know what? That's actually a good thing for Alacantes. She was off cycle. She's actually going to get back on cycle with that.
Yeah, but now she's got a lot of damage.
Ellie?
Yeah, I'm hearing chatter on the 39 team. It sounds like she's got a piston that went out.
Very unfortunate. Looks like everybody's going to come back down pit road here. I'm not tremendously shocked. 42 is blowing up in the back.
That just happened. Well, now they got some oil to clean up on top of that under this caution.
Might as well give
This
them.
evens
Might
up the
as well let them practice everything, huh?
Yeah, I know, right? That tire advantage the 16 is going to have will be gone, but she will be right behind the 96 on this restart, so we'll see how that plays out.
I'm going to take a look and see if we can find what. First of all, I want to see if I can find what happened to the 99, the 92 there. I believe the 92 is the free pass car. 16 will get the lead off pit road.
96.
A lot of these
very
cars, I
slow
think,
stop.
took 2 tires.
Oh. Yeah, that is possible. The 2 car is going to be restarting pretty high up in the field. That's going to make things interesting.
So let's see if we can figure out. Well, first of all, I want to go back to the point of caution, so I can figure out who got the free pass. I think it was the 92.
It's probably the 92.
It was.
So she'll get one of her laps back.
She'll get one of her 2 laps back. See what happens. First of all, I'm going to take a look and see if I can figure out what happened to Ijavida.
Oh!
I don't know what Yatika is doing. Ijavida coming onto pit road. Her pit stall is right before the line.
Oh, she ran into the 6.
She ran into the 6. Ooh, yep, that is
Crunch.
that is pretty severe. So if we can figure out where the 99 and 92 come into this.
I'd keep an eye on the exit after they leave the pits, because I think they were together at that point, and then I saw the 99 kind of go up onto the racing surface earlier than she should have been, so... Yeah, they're side by side leaving the pits. 99 gets into her, turns her up the track. They
Leave
both
it
get into the wall.
Leave it to those two. Leave it to Mauricia Vebels to do something like that. We'll go back and see what Perry Alicantes.
We saw what happened here.
Yep. Jarsras just gets into her. And both just kind of hooked into the wall. I do not know
This is
how.
what had me nervous.
I don't know how nobody hit Alicantes.
Yeah, that would have been a nasty, nasty hit if someone got into her, but thankfully everybody was able to avoid the 18.
Well, lights are out. And Jetta has the lead. Madison.
And I have an update on the 42 car who blew a piston. That engine is pretty much done, and they'll have to get a new one in the car for whatever the next race on this sort of track is. Obviously, different engine package at Talladega, but that engine is pretty much done. Can't reuse it.
Next similar track.
Second piston issue in just a few laps.
Next similar track, I guess, is Rockingham. If not that, then Homestead.
Homestead is pretty similar to this race.
Homestead is pretty similar. I'm not sure Rockingham.
Yeah, Rockingham's quite a bit different, but...
All right.
Well, this is going to be an interesting restart. I'm looking at that 2 car in 5th place and seeing if she's really going to be up to speed or not.
Well, we'll just have to see. Green flag is back out. We're racing once again in Oregon. The two fired off okay. She is getting freight trained on the outside though.
Yeah, not very aerodynamic up at the front, that's for sure.
She fired off okay. She fired off decently. Just
Yeah, she's
doesn't
not
look like
horrifically slow, but
yeah.
I don't think she's going to be competing for the win anymore.
Yeah, probably not. And Jetta still holds on to the lead.
This really shook up the field, as now the other Dark Horse racing car is the one running her down.
Yeah, Bria Delade. And again, we're still yet to see a playoff driver lead a lap today.
Delade could be the first, although Janet Parkins is all over the back bumper, and she's going to try and make a pass for second going into turn 1.
Not gonna have.
But Delade's going to shut the door on her. Never mind, she forced her way under. Here she comes for the lead.
Parking's looking for the lead in that 72 car. And she has it at the line.
Somebody in the
Somebody
pits.
scraped the wall. That's Nihale.
64. Not sure what the issue is there on the 64, but that's another playoff driver.
And Jetta fights back on
Jetta back
Parking's.
to the lead.
As the
Here comes
Wondio
Carly
really
Byrne
slips
into
up.
third.
9 cars here. The 96 is back here.
She's bringing the 31 with her.
They're going 3 wide here. That's 3 Atlantic Racing cars going 3 wide.
Teammates. Oh boy, if you're the owner of Atlantic Racing, you don't want to see your cars 3 wide and your 4th car having to come into the pits for an unscheduled stop. Here comes that 96, absolutely flying through the field, already up to second again. That's those 4 tires for you.
Look who she's brought with her. Taylor Happeman in the 31 car.
Happeman. And she's going to pass the 96.
You know, Happeman
Set herself up on the 72.
Happeman had a remarkably solid first round of the playoffs as well. She kind of has done the same thing Abby Little did, where she didn't really do a lot. She won early in the season, kind of played it small, did good in the in-season tournament, and she's turned it up now when it matters. And now Taylor Happeman running second here in Oregon.
She was the second half of that Ozark 1-2.
Yeah.
Dark Horse cars battling side by side behind.
Yeah, then you got Amani Wandayo. And Jetta's here, Carly Burns here. They're fighting for 8th with Davison and Abby Little. Little not quite clear,
Davison. Back
Davison.
there, Alicia Byrne and
Arlen Handstrom.
side by side.
Yep, 91 and 19. The 2 Mason Parker cars outside the playoff picture right now.
Happeman.
Here comes Taylor Happeman. She's got Rugatino following. See if Happeman can get a lap led.
Trying to get that pushed on the
Oh, I don't know.
stretch. No, that was close. I think
72
the
got it.
72 got it.
Now imagine if we get something like that for the finish of the race.
That would be quite entertaining.
We saw
I've seen some close ones here before.
we saw in the Continental race, it was the closest finish in AWSCO history. It was 0.07 seconds between Brousseau and Jones at the end there.
Oh, they could do better than that.
Oh, they can. Just having these long races doesn't really it doesn't really help things, I guess.
Parking's back into first.
Parkings clears back, but Happeman did get that lap lead point. So she's got an extra point that she can work with now.
Got 4 different manufacturers in the top 4 right now.
Going for it again.
And the 31's back under the 72 car.
Both of the Burns sisters are up here. Carly and Alicia.
Yeah, we saw Alicia up here doing pretty well in that first run. Carly Byrne, it really hasn't shown up until now, but she's doing a pretty good job in that 9 car. The leading Evans Ross racing driver right now. Oh, Alicia's going to try and stick it under Wandayo.
Yeah, she thought about it.
There's enough momentum.
How about Amory
60
Wesco?
cars up here.
Yeah, I was about to say Amory Wesco looking solid. She's up here into the towards the front of the field. Here comes
Side
Happeman
by
for the
side
lead again.
It just keeps swapping back and forth each lap. She's gonna
I
get
got
it
a
that
photo.
time?
Yes, she is.
If she will. Byrne's gonna interrupt this battle, though. She's gonna get herself in the mix.
Yeah, now Parkins has been shuffled out.
Byrne with her.
That's shuffled out
Yeah,
Parkins.
Parking's stuck on the outside.
Yeah, I say that, and she got a good run up top.
Not gonna be able to clear Wandayo into 1, though.
You know, Sky and Jetta's really dropped
Jetta's-
back. She's fallen back to 13th
Yeah.
now.
She's gotten passed by Stoneman, who is back up here. Started on
Yeah.
pole, fell all the way to the back, and is climbing her way back up.
Maybe Stoneman has a short run car.
Big stack up on the inside there. As
Here
here
comes the
Carly
9.
Byrne for the lead.
I don't think she's going to have it this time, but she may have the run to get it into turn 1.
That 72 has done a great job on the outside. The
31
31's
did
gonna check her
not.
Up, though.
31 really
Yeah.
lost grip there.
That'll give Byrne the lead. That might move Wandayo to second. And the other Byrne's going to try and get to third.
Yeah, Carly Byrne led a lot at Kansas. She led about 90. She led 99 laps at Kansas. She was out front looking like she might have the car to win. And then the big one erupted in front of her. Had nowhere to go.
Here comes Wandayo. The 31's gonna slide up again.
Ooh, that's tight.
72 gonna make it 3. Gotta be careful going into 1. That's where we saw the accident earlier.
And Amani
Get out
Wandayo.
of it, but the 31 is gonna come out of it bad. And Wandayo is gonna get the lead.
She is.
64 appears to have some front end damage, and there you go. Alicia Byrne gets the lead.
Wow, Wandayo couldn't even hold it to the line.
Barely held it down the backstretch.
Yeah, now that's put the 91 out front of Alicia Byrne. And Wandayo's really checking up the high side. Both of the Dark Horse cars moving through. AWSCO's coming up through here as well.
AWSCO. That 60 car was pretty much absent in that first run, but has really shown up here in
Yeah.
the second run.
Another face we haven't seen much today, but Laurie Schliesenbach in the 8 car making her way up here.
I do remember making some 3 wide moves early in the race. Kind of disappeared after that, but she's back up here.
It's been a good race for non-playoff cars, I will say. Only one playoff driver has led this race, although we are still only just over 90 laps in, so things can change in a hurry. Audie Stoneman battling with Rugatino for 5th. You
Back
see,
into the top 5.
yeah, she's done a pretty solid job to get back up here. Same for Cynthia Rarison, I will say. 32 car who led a good bit early. Has climbed back up here. Valicia Vancy in the 1 car having a pretty solid run after she had a pretty well, she didn't have a very good start to the playoffs. In fact, she got eliminated with 3 consecutive sub-30th place finishes. AWSCO making moves on the 32 of Ariston. Not gonna quite have it here, but she may try and get a door opened.
One's going to move back into 4th as Raristow sets up for a pass on Alicia Byrne. Going to get underneath her in turns 3 and 4. AWSCO's going to go with her.
And it's not going to matter. Byrne's going to have a really big run up top. Schliesenbach making moves on Delod here.
Going to bring Wandayo with her. And Vancy. Now Stoneman's thinking she needs to get past. Oh, that's going to be tight there with the 96. They keep it together. 96 was right on the quarter panel of the 10.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for one of those, when somebody loses it off on turn 4, I'm just waiting for something like that to end badly.
Yeah, because that front stretch, there's not much room down there, and it's easy for that to get clogged up. Kind of like Indianapolis when you go down that front stretch and you got the wall right there. It's very easy to bottle up the pack there, and we've had a couple close calls already.
Look at this. We've gotten mostly single file out towards the front of the field. The top 10,
Ooh,
well, top
Carly
9 now.
Byrne. Carly Byrne bumps Rugatino up the track.
AWSCO right now currently credited as having the fastest lap of the race.
Oh, up the track goes the 91, but the 32 also went up.
Nobody making any...
These 5 cars. These 5 cars are trying to break away from the rest of the pack.
They seem pretty content to stay as is right now, although I think with Schliesenbach closing up, that might change. Stoneman fighting with Vancy, 6th place here. It's available, and she'll take that. Her teammate Wandayo is behind her.
Inside.
8-car look to the inside on Wesco. She's gonna jam the door open there. Wesco tried to
quite a few of those.
Wesco tried to shut the door, and Schliesenbach stuck something in there to keep it open.
Now she's going for 3rd.
Yeah, going for the spot on Happeman.
We've seen quite a few of those moves going into one where the car will get underneath and the car in front will try to block, but it's too late and they almost make contact in the corner. Schliesenbach's going to move into 3rd there as the 31. That 31 car has been fast when she's been able to stay on the inside, but the problem is she slid up the corners quite frequently. Might be struggling with the handling a little bit on that car.
That car doesn't seem like it can roll the outside very well.
Yeah, but seems like it's got a good motor under it, so she's staying up here.
Yeah.
Wandayo's going to try and pass for 5th.
Yeah, when Wandayo
just trying to go for 7th.
Wandayo had just gone by her teammate, Stoneman there. Stoneman kind of washed up the track as well, and that let Wandayo through. Well, look at this. Yenfi Yanaga's actually climbed up here in that 46 car. She's managed to make her way up through the field. She was well towards the back earlier. She was well towards the back.
She was the one that kind of caused Injetta to pit late because she was so far back.
Yeah.
But a good recovery from Yanaga. She's still making.
Well, actually, Yanaga caused Injetta to pit late because Yanaga was exiting the pits right as Injetta caught her.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, battle for the lead. Raristoun looked,
on the 64 car.
But Alicia Byrne hangs on for now. And yeah, Nihil's in their sights right now. Not only the 17 of Pacelin Yiria has been to pit road as well.
Pretty strung out single file up at the front here.
Yeah, they're really single filing out now. Very interesting. Almost worried that caution came out, but...
Yeah, they might be catching the draft of that 64 and they're just kind of trying to cling on to that.
I think the 64...
The Circle K machine.
I think the 64 has the pace to keep with these cars. I think she's just... Well, I think the position the 64 is in because she pitted there.
She might have pitted for damage. I think the front end is crushed in a little bit on that 64 car.
That's very possible. It's probably the likely culprit, to be fair. Nihil's already scored a lap down. First car off the lead lap right now is the 92, actually.
Yeah, she does not want those cars to get past and fall a second lap down. It's going to be a lot harder to recover if she goes 2 down.
Yeah. Risha Vebbel's 2 laps down at the moment. And you're already seeing, you know, she's fast, but she can't... It's very hard to make those laps up, especially with the quality of these fields.
Yeah.
Burns caught up to Nihil. I imagine...
See how well she can get around her.
I imagine that 64 is not going to play it very nice.
They're going to catch the 2 very soon as well, so... We have a couple lap cars get in the way here. 91 gets to the inside.
And keep in mind that Nihil's teammate is currently pressuring Byrne for the lead as well.
Yeah, Yeah, so there's another reason why the 64 should fight the 91 here, but the 91 is going to get clear.
She'll get clear, and I imagine the 64 will lay over for the 32.
And the 2-car
The 2-car,
is going to
which
get in the way a little bit.
Which is another Honda, although you wouldn't be able to tell from the front end. They'll lap that car. Now the 2 now becomes the first car off the lead lap.
Yeah, the 2 is considerably slower than the 64.
The 2 now becomes the first car off the lead lap. Once she gets caught by the 92, that would put the 92 back to first off the lead lap.
92's pretty far back there.
The 92 is
She's got
pretty
that
decently
damage on
far
the
back.
car that she got from the incident with Bevels that put her 2 laps down to begin with. Yannika's up to 8.
Yeah, she's climbing up. I noticed her in the up here towards the front. Notice the 64 is actually holding with these top 2 fairly okay. She can hang on and get a caution at a good time. She may be able to take that top 10 wave around. You know, you're not out of the race here if you go a lap down, because not only is there the free pass positions, but there's also, you know, because there's single file restarts, all the lap cars in between the top 10 do get waved around.
It's an interesting rule. And the 64 is going to help push her teammate past Alicia Byrne here.
Yep, that will give Rariston the lead again. I'd imagine Nihil would expect Rariston to maybe let her have that lap back.
'60 and the 8 are trying to catch these front cars, but and the tires are starting to kind of wear out a little bit more in this run, and they're spreading out a little more. The 64 still fighting with the 91. And we saw lap cars fighting with the leaders in the Continental race have an impact on the finish of that one.
See, Nihil's just giving Byrne a little bit of trouble. I mean, it's not really helping Nihil either. It's not even really helping Nihil either. If you look, the 91's still managing to hold on the high side, and that might actually let the 60 might be looking to the high side here as well. Yannika's
now
moved up into 5th spot. Just got past Stoneman and Happerman.
She is flying through the field.
There's Perry Alicantes. Remember, she spun in that caution? She's just caught the car who spun her.
Well, this will make things interesting.
Battle for the lead.
Well, here we go.
Byrne's coming back on Rariston. Slides up a little bit.
Sliding up the track.
Kind of forced her wide, though. That's going to let Byrne take it.
An opportunity.
Yeah, the 60's here now. And we may see a fight for 4th as Yanniga has caught Schliesenbach. AWSCO's clear for 2nd.
Oh, not quite.
Now they're very strung out now. They're very strung out single file now. Looking for that playoff update. Our top playoff driver right now is Yenfi Yanniga in the 46. In 5th, Happerman is 7th. Gonna go all the way back to Abby Little running 14th for the next car. Ajar Siraj is 18th. Alicantes is 19th. Delat is 22nd. Tosima's 26th. Harina's 27th. Those two are pretty well towards the back. Malikson's 29th. Davison is 30th. Waterton's 31st. Vukovic is 32nd. See the 27 of
27's
Michi
in the
Garnston
pits.
has come down pit road. Vebelst is 2 laps down at 38th. Nihil is 2 laps down 37th. And Lily Talberson is out of the race with an engine issue.
It's been a tough race for these playoff drivers.
Yeah, they haven't really been up here. You know, obviously that
Have you
could
seen it?
change. We're not even halfway yet.
We've seen a couple of them have flashes get to the front. We saw Delat up there. We saw Harina up there. And then obviously Yanaga's having a pretty good run right now.
And
as well as
Happeman.
Happeman. But for the most part, it's been a struggle for the playoff cars as the 27 leaves the pit lane here. Not
Yeah,
sure what the
Garston-
issue was on that car.
She might just be trying to undercut it a little bit. We're just a little bit. It's a little bit early for the window, but it has been about 50 laps since they came in, so she might just be trying alternate strategies. See, the 62
yeah,
and
here we
92
go.
have come down as well.
Yeah, this is the start of the cycle. I didn't realize we were that far into the run yet.
It's been about 50 laps. Last time they made it about 60 to 65, so I'm a bit surprised that they're pitting a lot that they're shortening it up this time, but that could just be making it to the end of the race kind of strategy. Because otherwise that would mean that the window is really spread out now, if cars are coming in now.
And that could definitely make things interesting. We'll get a lot of different tire strategies in this race.
32 car, going for second again. Raristoun takes it back from Wesco. Nihil's kind of sticking her nose in here as well. Trying to get a little
We did
sniff.
see a mix. We did see a mix of drivers last caution going for 2. We saw a few of them. I wonder if those are the cars that are pitting early here.
I wouldn't be surprised. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if the cars that have kind of dropped off this lead pack are the cars that took 2 tires.
Yeah,
I
like
believe
this-
Perry
this
Alacante's took
16
4,
left.
and that's why this 18 car looks fairly fast right now, because she took 4 tires because she had no other choice.
Yeah. And like you mentioned, that could create a very spread out pit cycle, and that could get a lot of different strategies on this.
Yeah, absolutely. We saw the pit strategy get really spread out in the Continental race, and that was because we just had a really long green flag run.
It is interesting that the Continental drivers went twice as long without a caution than the Cup drivers did.
To start the race, yeah. We could still have a very long run here, though.
Yeah, that is definitely possible.
It is also a little bit of
Race-
weather conditions are kind of playing adverse effects here with these with the Cup drivers. You got that
Yeah,
big
it's
crosswind
they're
at 10-4.
they're definitely harder to drive here than they were last time.
Yeah.
As Stoneman tries to go under Yanaga here.
5th place at stake. 46 got a great run through the corner, though. I also wonder if maybe some
Raristoun.
cars might have taken no tires.
Raristoun just took the lead
Raristoun's out front.
with Wesco.
Wesco's coming for second. Suddenly, Raristoun's 2 wins this year. Bristol and South Boston, they came back to back. She hasn't won since that. It was 2 wins back to back on the short tracks. I'm sure she would have loved to make it to this round because Martinsville's in this round, and that would have been something she, I'm sure, would have really enjoyed. But alas, Raristoun's not in the conversation this year. Well, anymore. 129 laps complete this time by. Got more cars on pit road. I believe that's the 2 of Ijavida that's just come down. She's off the lead lap, so I believe that's just a trying to minimize time loss pit stop there. Stoneman pressuring Yanniga here. You got AWSCO on the bumper of Alicia Byrne for second. Schliesenbach in fourth. Yanniga's gotten fifth. Stoneman sixth. Got to go back a little bit. There's Vancy, then Happeman, Parkings, and Rugatino. The rest of the remainder of the top 10. But this front group, pretty single filed out. We're seeing the 62 here. Now she's on fresh tires. Same with the 27 of Nietzsche Garnston. You see the 18 of Alicantes has come down pit road. Same for the 22 and 82. So the pit cycle is opening up. 98 is in as well. Oh, here we go. Leaders in. Rariston, Wesco. Rugatino checking up across the entire field for some reason. It's going to gain Abby Little a position here. Risha Vebels will come off pit road without turning somebody into the wall this time. Burns in. Yanniga's in. And now the 8 car of Schliesenbach will get credit for leading a lap here. Davison exiting in front of her. 10 and the 1 battling back here. And those two, the 8 and the 6, 10 and the 1 are all coming to pit road. 72's coming in. 20, 71, 26, 16. I don't believe anybody on the lead lap is staying out right now. And I believe the 60 jumped the 32 on pit road. Yes, yes, she did. And she's also going to jump the 91. Everybody's going to be on 4 tires now. It just remains on what kind of tire cycle everybody is going to be on. That's going to be a big determining factor here. Wesco, though, guts out front. I believe when they cross the line this time, that will be the true tell of the cycle. Yes, there it is. So Wesco, Byrne, Rugatino, Rariston, Happeman, Alicantes, Yiria, Yanniga, Byrne, Vancy after stops. Although Yiria is also on a different cycle here. How about Perry Alicantes gaining a lot of positions? Involved in a wreck that got her back on the lead lap, and now she's running 6th. That is, that's definitely a comeback story. Back here, a lot of shenanigans going on back here. But Jasmine is trying to make up ground. 64 and Nihil just came in. for her stop. Tried to wait it out as long as she could. .60 car still leading though. Second place, Rugatino trying to take it away. Rarison also trying to take it away. They both take it away from Byrne though. Alacantes, meanwhile, is closing up on this group. Monty Dio coming up through here with Yanniga, Vancy, and Carly Byrne. Zayiria also trying to just wait this out and hope for a caution. As these cars back here navigate around the 64. Who sits 2 laps down at the current moment. .27.62, the last couple cars on the lead lap. Playoff cars kind of just settling in the back right now. But now everybody's going to be on 4 tires. They're all going to be on the same set of wearing tires. AWSCO out front, Rarison, Rugatino, Happeman, Alicia Byrne make up the top 5. We still have 34 cars on the lead lap at the current moment. Monty Wandayo really slid through the corner there. Happeman goes around Rugatino, 3rd place, battled for, and they've taken that away. Meanwhile, fight for the lead coming up. Rarison looks to the inside on AWSCO. Here's Amani Wandayo fighting for the 8th position with Carly Byrne. Valicia Vancy in this as well. Yenfi Yanniga here too. Couple playoff cars fighting with each other. Bria Delot and Abby Little. We're getting closer and closer to the halfway point every lap. Cynthia Rarison has the lead. And we have a battle for 5th now taking place as Perry Alacantes tries to get around her teammate, Alicia Byrne. Now, Alacantes won at Denver, a track that races fairly similar to this one as well. Very early in the season, that race also had a long green flag run to begin that race. That race had a 130-some green flag run, or about 300 miles.
Impressive that Alacantes has been able to keep it up towards the top 5 despite the accident. It doesn't seem to be affecting her that much as she's going to make the pass on Carly Byrne for 5th place.
She pitted
Very
early.
impressive stuff from the 18.
She pitted early, But also, she just kind of held with everybody here towards the front. She actually had kind of closed up on the front. Taylor Happam has just gotten around AWSCO for second. Yeah, we're seeing it's really strung out now. There's the group that Nihil is kind of holding up, with Abby Little leading it now. Wow, Schliesenbach trying to use the outside groove on that one. That's 11th through, I believe, 18th. I think a lot of these cars, that are stuck at the back right now, we're looking at the 93, the 22, the 13, 23's back here, 34 is pretty far back. I think they're going to be kind of looking at, they're going to want a yellow flag at some point. To help them get back up, because I think that's pretty much the only way they're going to really get that ground made up again. Went yellow on about lap 70. Went back green around lap 74, I think it was. So, this is the longest green flag run of the day. Now, back at Kansas, there was only one yellow through the entire race. The unfortunate thing about Kansas was that one yellow took out pretty much a lot of cars.
It was a pretty big yellow.
Yeah.
These top four right here have gapped the rest of the field by a considerable margin, and there goes the 60 of WESCO.
WESCO's got the lead back as they catch lap traffic here. That's the 27 of Nietzsche Garnston and the 92 Mikel Yatica. About to fall back to 2 laps down. And Rariston's going to try and take advantage and pin the 60 behind the lap car, and she's going to do exactly that. Rariston's got the lead back. And Weska's going to drop back multiple positions. She's still sandwiched 3 wide with the lap car.
Appleman's going to move into second. And Wesco's going to drop down to get past the 92 car.
Wesco actually did a good job hanging on to third there, because I didn't think she was going to have it.
Banshee's up to 5th, Burns up to 6th.
18 and 91 have dropped back.
Been dropping spots.
They've dropped back quite a bit. I think these two pitted a bit early.
Yeah,
So they're kind of
not really helping for the pace.
It's helped Alicantes in terms of position.
Yeah, it's helped for track position, but you got to make sure that you hold the track position as well. And we've got this big pack right here around the middle of the field that might catch up to them sooner rather than later.
And this group has kind of been
9 cars in there.
dicing around with itself for a good bit, for a good while. This is 11th through 18th. As Happeman battles with Rariston for the lead, she had the lead at the start-finish line.
Got the fellow Chevy pushing her on the inside lane, and now they're going to catch the 2 car again.
They're going to lap the 2 car. They're going to put that car 2 laps down now.
And she's going to hold up everybody. 32 gets a run up top, but the 2 is going to slide up into her lane, and that's going to help the 31 get the lead.
Happeman's clear. There's Amani Wandayo battling with Carly Byrne for 6th spot. Rariston's still stuck behind the 2 car.
Oh yeah, she's having a lot of trouble getting past the 2.
That's going to break her off of this front group here. '93 of Tosima has come down pit road. That's very early for her.
I don't think that's a scheduled pit stop.
I don't believe it is either.
More problems for the Evans-Ross racing cars.
Yeah, that's the second one with
Not been a good
problems.
race for them.
Well, third car with problems. The only one we've seen that hasn't really had anything go awry is that 9 car of Carly
He's the
Byrne.
9.
The problem with the 99 is that is probably the driver here.
Yeah, I guess so. Looks like the 32 is gonna stay in that lead group at least.
Yeah, she's reeling him back in.
And that group with the 1 and the 21 closed in a little bit a couple laps ago, but they kind of fell back to where they were.
I think a lot of that is
Probably
because they
catching
caught
the
that lap traffic.
Yeah, they're catching the draft off those lap cars now. And the lap cars definitely slowed the leaders down as well.
Yeah. Well, we'll see if they can get by the lap cars a little cleaner than the leaders did.
Is that another car in the pits? Don't think that was Tosima. That's somebody
That's
else.
not Tosima. That's Yiria.
That's 17.
That's okay. That's expected. She's off cycle.
She's off cycle. Okay.
Yeah, she was off
Let's
cycle.
go for the lead.
60 car to the inside.
They're
That'd be-
catching Yukapit.
Yeah, the 62 is also pretty off the pace.
Seven- 17 rejoins the race as her teammate's gonna defend the 60. Hold
Yeah,
on. to the lead.
Haberman had a great run on the high side. To keep control of the race. At least for now.
Raristown gonna try and use the 62 as a pick here.
That's
It's gonna work.
Rariston's teammate in the 62, so
A little bit of teamwork going on there.
yeah. Probably planning that one out. This group here is kind of closing in on these cars. The 17 of Yiria is going to have fresh tires.
Yeah, this is gonna be interesting to watch. He's gonna blow past all these leaders. We're halfway through the race now.
Yep, coming to the line this time. It'll be halfway, and we will also see 32 of Sinlia Rariston take the lead once more. It's not really been the kind of race I think that we expected from a lot of these playoff drivers, but you know what? I think that actually makes it better for those playoff drivers, because if everybody's having a bad race and they're only against each other, then it's not really that bad.
If they're all struggling, no one is.
Yeah, exactly.
We've definitely had a few standout playoff drivers in this race. Yanaga's still in the top 10. Alicantes especially, even after the incident, still having a great run
Yeah,
inside the top 10. So
running
they've
8th right
been
now.
up here. It's just that none of them have really been consistently up there, and we've seen quite a few of them have issues.
Ellie, you have word on Tosima?
Yeah, it looks like the issue with that car was the fuel system. That's what ended up being the issue.
She is back on track, so she's 3 laps down right now, but she is back on the track. And yeah, they had about almost a minute on pit. They spent almost a minute on pit road. Sky and Jetta is starting to move up through the field. She's actually made it up to 12th right now. Seeing Sophie Chantaze catch a little bit of the 91. Now the 1 has actually been closing little by little. She has been gaining on these front 4. Not by a lot, but the gap has been going down steadily. And just as I say that, she loses 1/10 of a second.
That's how it goes.
Well, I think a good part of that is she's got a lap car to get around here. The 62
Got
is
the
being a bit...
62 in front of her.
62 is being annoying right now. She'll get by. Didn't cost her too much time. You know, the 17 as well is going to be closing up on these leaders too, because she's got those fresh tires. I wouldn't be surprised if the leaders just let that 17 through. Simply because of that. Ooh, Schliesenbach almost got into the 27 at Garnston. That was a bit too close, I think.
Big check up by the 96. Got right up to the bumper of the 60 and lost a ton of ground there. That's going to give the 31 a chance.
31 looks to the inside.
17.
17's closing up on these cars as well. 17 is currently scored 2 laps down. But if she can unlap herself, well, she can get 1 lap back by unlapping herself, then that will seriously help her. Especially if we get a yellow and that 17 car is in the right spot in her cycle. With that being said, I think it is a perfect time now. We're just past halfway. I think it's a perfect time to get down to our FanDuel Fan Studio with Madison and Ellie in the FanDuel Fan Studio. You two, take it away and let's hear what you got.
Well, that's us, and we are a little bit past halfway in this race. 174 laps complete out of 329 here. It is currently Sinula Rarsten continuing to lead. I hope I didn't butcher that pronunciation, but yeah, certainly we are seeing cars climb through the field, right, Ellie?
Oh yeah, we have. We've seen plenty of cars climbing through the field, and this is what I kind of expected. I mean, look where the 31 started, and look where she's been all race. She's definitely been very competitive. So has been many of the drivers who started way further out back.
For sure. I'd say that probably Halfman is the best example, starting on that last row and already being up into 3rd at the moment. Granted, we probably are about to approach a bit more of a pit cycle sort of stage, but, you know, still, that is very impressive. And you look at some of these other drivers throughout the field. I know you remarked on Abby a little earlier being one of those drivers. And honestly, we've sort of seen the reverse effect to some extent with some of the playoff drivers who started near the front. Like Tosima, of course, did have that issue, but, I mean, think about Yempi Yanniga, for instance, started 4th, now in 10th, which isn't a huge drop, but still a drop. And some of the other names that started near the front we're really not seeing among the front runners.
Yeah, we really haven't, at least too much at all, and it's really been the drivers who qualified more to the middle or more to the back who have been actually kind of doing something this race. And Abby Little isn't in the top 10 right now, but she was in the top 10 for a while now. There is definitely a reason for that. She did have like a pit cycle that wasn't the best to her, but she's around 15th, 14th, I believe, last time we checked. I feel like she might be one of the she might be one of the, like, the short run cars.
Yeah, I know you mentioned top of the broadcast that that's generally not what you want to go for at a place like Oregon, where passing is very possible and the long run cars tend to benefit. But all things being said, Abby Little is still doing pretty well for herself, all things considered. And of course, we heard Brennan and Echo talking about how it wasn't a great day for a lot of the playoff cars, but if nobody's having a good day, then is it really a bad day?
Well, it's a good day for playoff cars who started out in the back, I guess.
That's about it, I suppose. So yeah, I think we could see a very even set grid heading to Talladega. Of course, that'll be for the post race, but just some speculation. Of course, here at Oregon, pretty calm race too. A whopping one caution so far, I believe, and not really much sign of another immediately. So definitely a calmer race admittedly than I was expecting, although not entirely surprising given that the Continental race here had two cautions and both were near the end of the race. So a bit of deviation from that sort of pattern there, but still something to note, right?
Oh yeah, it is something to note, but I'm not too surprised. The cautions here they tend to be not very excessive. It's been really calm this race, but it hasn't been too calm. It's been interesting to watch, and sometimes it's a nice kind of a breakup from some of the crazier, hectic racing we see in the AWSCO series, so I'm completely fine with it.
Of course, yeah, there's definitely a line between calm and boring, and this really isn't going much into the boring section at all. But yeah, honestly, we have our top four pretty much under a blanket right now within half a second. Not many passes happening, but they are approaching the lap car up ahead. I'll be interested to see if they do reach that soon, how it will play into that battle. But definitely some wider margins throughout the rest of the field. It looks like a decent battle could be happening. Background, I believe, 7th and 8th, though. We see Carly Byrne up ahead of Sophie Chance, if we can have a look. There's a bit of a battle for 5th, actually, between Felicia Vancy, of course, leading in 5th, the 21 right on her tail. And there's that other sort of battle, I guess, starting to spread out a little bit, but there's plenty of side-by-side outside the top 10.
Too.
If we could have a quick look at that, get some things to talk about. Oh yeah, that is a pack, all right. And there's the Enfianica, of course, we mentioned starting 4th, drop back to 10th, now outside the top 10. And then, of course, there's Abby Little right back there, just behind Bria Delad. You mentioned running in the top 10 much of today, now a little bit lower. But all things considered, not too bad as we go 3 wide here. Surprisingly, this is a track where 3 wide has almost always had a good outcome. And it looks like it'll be another such case here as it settles down to 2 by 2.
You usually don't see that often in AWSCO. You know, they go 3 wide and it's like over.
Pretty much, yeah. It's like they split an atom whenever they go 3 wide in AWSCO, except here for some reason. I suppose we'll see how that works out at Talladega, given you just race 3 wide there. That's the whole point of it. But yeah, honestly, this race is a bit more of a calm stage right now, but that's perfectly fine. I guess that's a great spot to segue into our FanDuel fan picks. Quite a bit to choose from, given that this race has been A, competitive, and B, has seen drivers in the front fall back and drivers from the back go to the front. How do you think the rest could play out?
I think the big thing here to watch for is either another caution or another green flag pit cycle. The closer we get to the end of the race, right? If we get a green pit cycle right before then, that could also change everything. It could also change everything if we get a yellow soon. It's kind of hard for me to pick a driver right now, but based off of pace, I would pick the 31. Just given how she's been performing the entire race, even if there's a caution, I could see her benefiting from it. Even if there is another green flag pit cycle, she would probably benefit from it. She would be fine. She's just been performing really well. She's been really fast all day, and she's just a solid pick to me.
That's a good pick. It would especially be really cool to see not last to first, but it would be a second to last to first. But I'm going to pick right now. I think I'll pick Imani Juan Dayo, of course, running 6th right now, but I think she could have some real pace near the end, and I think it'd be pretty cool to see a non-playoff driver sort of spoil the party for a driver who is in the playoffs, sort of deny them that win and say, no, you got to do it the hard way at Talladega or the next week. I think that could get very interesting, so I'm just here for the fun of it.
It's not a bad pick. I could see it happening, too. Especially if we get a green flag pit cycle or even a caution, she could easily get up there as well. Not a bad pick.
Well, I appreciate your confidence in my pick, even if I lack that for my own pick. But I suppose it will be a great time to see what Brennan and Echo have for their picks over in the booth. What do you have for us?
Oh, 62 is blowing up on the apron.
Uh-oh.
Well, that interrupted the pick segment. That's a great way to come in.
That's another playoff driver.
Yeah, that's another playoff driver with troubles. All right, Brennan, what do you have for a pick here?
Well, she's raced on this track before, so I think it would, and she's had a pretty fast car here today. I'm going to pick the 6th place car, Amani Huantayo, to win the race today for Red Racing. And she's got a little bit of work to do to get up to the front, but she catches a good break, she gets a good pit strategy, she could definitely be in it at the end of this thing.
I think I'll go with the 96 Angeli Rugatino. Rugatino's looked fast all day. She's had a fast car at the beginning. She's been pretty much the only car that's really stayed at the front this entire race. I think Rugatino's gonna pull this one off and maybe get some vengeance for last week. Multiple cars on pit road. The 18s come down pit road. Alicantes came down pit road. That appears to be scheduled. The 99 just came down pit road. I see the 23 of Yappy Malikson coming in. So we have another pit cycle getting underway here. Madison, do you have any information on what happened to the 62?
Well, we heard the mid-race report, and of course it concluded with the question of, what do you have for us? And it turned out what the booth had for us was a blowing up number 62. Of course, they didn't really intend for that. That was more the piston going away. It was number 6 on that car, but that will end the day for the 62. Very unfortunate way for it to go.
Yeah, very unfortunate indeed. And Davison is in. I see Davison in. Rariston just came down pit road. So she's coming down pretty early. There's Irenia Tosima, by the way. Had to pit for that fuel system issue.
Be careful. And another thing that has happened at this track, that happened in the last LSCI race we ran here. Sometimes you'll have cars coming out of the pits kind of cross over with cars that are going into the pits in turn 3 there, and that could cause an incident. So
yeah,
that's also something to watch out for during this cycle.
The pit exit here is pretty tricky. Taylor Happeman stayed out an extra lap, and it looks like she's going to stay out another lap. Looks like the 1, the 26 are in, the 15 of Toro's going to stay out here, and Jetta's going to stay long. Looks like Schliesenbach's going long. Little and Delot are doing the same. I'm not too terribly surprised that we're seeing some pit strategy messing about. Now again, the fuel window we're expecting is about 60 to 65 laps. If you can run, I believe it should be a 2-stopper from here. But if you can run the maximum 65 laps, you'd still be just about 3 laps short on that second stop. So we get another caution. You think we might see somebody chance it and try to just 1-stop it? '16's coming in. So is the 8. Those were the last 2 out on track. 72, I believe, is going to be in here as well. Next car was the 15, I believe. Where is the 15? Oh, she was already on pit road, excuse me. Those were the last 3 in. So as it cycles out, I believe the 60 should have the lead again. she's actually pretty decently far ahead of the next car, which is the 32. Yeah, she's got about a 2-second gap to Rariston now. Now, interestingly enough, that 31 dropped back quite a bit. She's actually being swallowed up by the 21 of Amani Wandayo at the moment. '64 is in. She again came in a little bit late. Cinlia Rariston sitting in second. Angeli Rigatino is third. Wandayo's just taken fourth away from Happeman, who's now back in fifth. Harley Byrne is sixth. Perry Alacantes has cycled back up to seventh again. Chantaze, Vancy, and Gianni McJasmine are running 10th.
Jasmine.
Having a fairly
Where'd
solid
she come
run.
from?
San Luis Obispo, California, from what I understand.
Well, there you go. There's another West Coast driver running well in this race.
Yeah, this race has treated the West Coasters pretty well. I wonder if we might see that in a couple weeks at Laguna Seca as well, because we're going there too. Sky and Jetta's sitting 11th. Abby Little's in 12th. Tolaron is 13th. Delot is 14th. And Pace Lanieri, there she is. She's cycled back into 15th. But again, she's like 15 laps off cycle, something like that. I don't know the exact number, but she's pretty well off the pit cycle of the leaders. Just over 200 laps are complete from Oregon, and we've been green since about lap 72. Over 130 laps under the green flag this run has been. I wouldn't be surprised if that green flag run ends, but I wouldn't be surprised if it doesn't end for a good while, because everybody's very well spread out right now. And we're seeing Taylor Happeman trying to make a move on Amani Wandayo for the fourth position as well.
They're about 5 seconds back of the leader, and about 3 seconds back from second and third. So
Yeah.
they've got some ground to make up.
Rariston's closing... Is she closing the gap a little? Not really. She's not really closing the gap to AWSCO.
This pack's definitely going faster.
I believe they are, yes, but that's also because they're all bunched together, and the top three are pretty well strung out at the moment. And Alacantes is also kind of bringing up the rear of this group as well. She's got Vancy and Chantaze in tow with her. Yeah, it's really spread out into, well, it's little groups now instead of where it was before, where it was kind of everybody was bunched up. You're not going to see that unless we get another yellow, I think.
Yeah, it's turned into a very different race than it was earlier.
Absolutely.
And that's kind of what I talked about in the pre-race show, is once we get a cycle going, the pack spreads out quite a bit, and you do kind of get these smaller groups of cars spread out from one another. So that's exactly what we're seeing right now, and leader's got a pretty sizable lead right now, about 1.8 seconds, but we'll see if that maintains over the course of the run.
It's been holding steady for now. And not a lot of the packs have been able to make up much ground on the 60. Now, I believe the 60 did short pit the that cycle. I could also be just completely saying something absurdly wrong. But, you know, that's just how it is. Wandio's gotten 4th back.
Happeman's going to look for 4th here.
I think the best chance for a lot of these cars is going to be a caution coming out.
Yeah, I agree with that. There are a lot of cars that are pretty far back from the leaders right now, and that could, it'll be a lot, it'll be pretty difficult to make that up, as even 2nd and 3rd is struggling to catch up to AWSCO.
Yeah, in fairness, 2nd and 3rd, not really formed together that well right now. AWSCO is also getting a bit of a draft off these lap cars, because the 2 is in front of her and the 93 of Tosima. Who,
and neither of those cars are very fast right now.
Yeah, the 93 is on old tires, and the 2 is, well...
The 60 is getting held up in the corner. That could help out the 32 and the 96 here.
Very well could.
They are forming up into a bit of a bigger group here, 3rd through 8th.
Yeah, this group is forming up now. And I will say, it is probably pretty good for the 31 that she's falling into a group now. They gained a fair bit of time, but also, that also is partially because the 60 was held up in lap traffic for a good bit. Now the 32 and 96 will have to get through that lap traffic as well. Abby Little's moved her way up to 11th, just gone past Sky and Jetta. Again, Taylor Happeman is the only playoff car to lead a lap today. The playoff drivers have not looked particularly strong in this race. Your best 3 right now, Happeman, Alacantes, and Little in 7th, 10th, and 11th at last time by the start-finish line. Brietta Lod's running 15th. Yappy Malikson has actually made up some good ground. She's actually up to 16th. She was pretty far back. She was back in the deep 20s not too long ago, so Yappy Malikson has managed to make something out of nothing here today.
He's had a type of race that is pretty ill-fitting of her. Quiet.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of how she's always run. She's just she just always makes it there somehow. Somehow, some way. She gets the position she needs.
And that's especially important in a race like this where so many playoff drivers have been having issues, mechanical woes, getting into crashes, stuff like that.
The top 3 have all gone past the 93 and the 2. Now this group is
3 wide.
Doing whatever.
26 is going to try and pass them both through the middle.
26 kind of forced the 1 car into the wall a little bit there. Sophie Chantaze, who won the Clash to start the season. It's been pretty much the only thing of note she's done all year.
Boy, and even when they're spread out, even when we're 150 laps into the run, they're still racing each other hard for position.
Yeah, no kidding.
Hondaio's going to try and get back to the lead of this group here. They closed in a little bit on the leader, and the 32 has actually closed in quite a bit on the leader.
Yeah.
She's within a second now.
Down to 0.8 of a second now for the 32.
She's kind of left the 96 car in the dust here and has been tracking her down on her own.
Yeah, Rigatino's just fallen back a fair bit. Now this group will catch the lap cars. They're single filing out. Well, I say that, and McJasmine decides
Except for the
to
6
do
and the
exactly
9.
the opposite of that.
That's for 8th place.
Now they're trying
this pack
to
is now
single
gonna
file out
catch.
as they get through the lap cars, but
Yeah, the 2 is holding them up. They can't get past her.
this is
That
not.
is really going to hurt their momentum because they were gaining quite a bit of time on the leader that last time by, but
Yes, they
they're
were.
going to lose all that time now. now the 2's going to drop low and block the 31. It's getting worse for this pack.
At least the high lane will have a bit of momentum. I say that, and the 93
Until the
tries to
93
block
comes
them.
up and blocks it. Mondaio should at least be able to get past the 93 here. Everyone else is going to have a little bit more trouble.
I'm not sure how Wandayo managed to stay the first car there, as
Oh,
they
boy.
might go.
Oh, boy.
Oh, I thought they were going to go
Almost.
4 wide with the lap car.
Yeah, I did too. That was looking really sketchy there, but... And they're still stuck behind the lap traffic. It's actually got the 92 back into this pack. The 6 got through it pretty good, though.
Yeah. Jasmine has moved up pretty solidly.
She came into that lap in 9th. She's going to come out of it in 6th, it looks like.
I believe so, yes. That's 6th. Fancy's going to be 7th. Shantaze still can't get past Osama.
Still getting held up.
That's actually going to drag the 16 and the 71 into this group now.
Yeah.
But that's what those cars kind of want. Is to, you know, get everybody jammed up a little bit. Rariston is closed up on AWSCO quite a bit. Now at under half a second, the gap between AWSCO and Rariston. Vancy making a move around McJasmina for 6th. Here comes Sky and Jetta. She's made her way back into the top 10. Just got past Carly Byrne. Abby Little, I believe, doing the same.
Byrne still cannot get past the 2 car.
Yeah, that hurt Shantaze and Byrne the most. Because those two were the ones that took the longest to get around the lap cars.
Looks like she's finally going to get past.
She does get through. You know, Alicia Burns really dropped back. She's now in 14th, and remember, she was leading for a good portion earlier in the race. She's really slid back. The 17 of Paisley Yuri is coming down pit road. Again, that's scheduled.
Here we go.
For the
This
lead.
battle is on now.
93's on pit road as well. Looks like that's for, that's also scheduled.
Yeah, she's off sequence as well.
Rariston to the inside on AWSCO. These cars run side by side. That's really going to hurt their time. That will let this group catch.
96. Yeah.
Rariston has it at the line. Okay, the 96 didn't even make up ground somehow.
The pack did a little bit. They're very spread out right now.
They're spread out, but they are single file, and that's helping.
Yeah.
Shantaze is trying to get around her teammate of Yatica.
And Jetta's trying to get past her teammate.
And that may let Abby Little try to make her way through to get past her teammate.
Jasmine gets dropped to the back of the line.
These cars are catching
This
that 96, by the way.
Trying to catch the 96, who is all by herself.
We'll say this group has been gaining on the leaders. As they keep going side by side, the 60 just went for the lead again.
They're still battling each other.
Yeah, this group's under 4 seconds now. Well, Wandio's under 4 seconds. The rest of the group is under 5.
Yeah, they keep fighting each other like this. This will bring this group back into it.
And, you know, with Rugatina running by herself, I think the 21 got a little bit of that draft. See, Vancy got passed by her teammate. Abby Little gets up here. We're seeing Taylor Happeman really struggle up on the high side, as we've seen her do pretty much all race. These cars have another lapper. That's Arlen Handstrom in the 19 car that they're closing up on.
Don't think any issues on that 19.
I think that's purely pace. That's purely A, pace, and B, just the fact that we've had such a long green flag run.
Yeah.
5th place now between Angetta and Little.
Jet's gonna put the block on her.
I think you want to stay in line at the moment, at least.
Yeah, don't worry about positions right now. Just try and draft up and see if you can get to the 2 leaders, and then you can battle each other. That's what these top 4 are trying to do right now. They're pulling away from the other 3. Never mind.
I think
Comes
Wandayo,
underneath.
I believe Wandayo is probably
96.
faster.
Yeah, she wants to lead this group. I think this 96 is definitely not as quick as the 21 and 16 are right now.
I absolutely agree. I think that's how it's cycling right now.
They've caught the 19 up front.
Yep, they've caught the 19, and that is actually holding these that is holding the leaders up a little bit. That might let this group gain a fair bit of time.
Just a little bit.
It did. It's just a little bit, but keep in mind that Wandayo was passing a car when she was doing that. So, for most of that lap, Wandayo was trying to get around the 96.
AWSCO's trying to make the pass on the,
On the
19.
19.
That's going to put Handstrom a lap down, and Raristoun will follow.
See what the gap is now. Yeah, it did close.
One gets by the 6th there. That's for the 7th position.
Here comes Anjetta looking to get past Wandayo for 3rd.
Oh, she slides up. Here comes Little.
Little.
Wide. That's not what you want to be doing.
And they still gain time somehow.
They're still gaining. Yeah.
They're gaining
I wonder
time
if
while
those tires.
battling.
I wonder if those tires on the. Yeah, I wonder if those tires on the front too are starting to wear out with them battling each other.
It's very possible. Just these cars are battling too.
AWSCO gets a run on the bottom off of 4. Is she gonna get there into 1?
Yep.
Yes, she will.
These cars didn't lose any time.
Yep, they didn't gain any either.
They didn't gain any, but
back
they
up.
didn't lose any.
This pack is kind of splintering apart too. It's split in half. The 96 is in the middle of it.
These two still side by side for the lead. AWSCO and Raristoun.
Another close call at the line.
And look at that, 4/10 that Little just gained.
Yeah, see, they're filed back up again. They're back into a line, so they can keep doing that. They can definitely gain these leaders, but will they catch them before the next cycle starts is the real question. If they catch them. 32 back underneath, 16 back underneath, but I thought the 16 might let the 71 back under, but they're still side by side, and they're side by side for the lead as well.
Yeah, Raristoun and AWSCO can't stop battling each other. The problem is Anjetta and Little can't stop battling each other either.
Yeah, it kind of evens out.
They still gained.
Still gained a little bit. The 32 has opened up a bit of a gap on the 60.
Yeah.
This 19 could provide the 3rd through 5th place cars with enough of a draft to kind of catch up a little bit more.
That is true.
They have to make sure. They have to make sure they get by the 19 cleanly as well.
Yeah, that is true though.
Much
The 19 could help them gain a bit of a draft. But
Under
yeah,
3 seconds.
it's under 3 seconds now for the lead car in this group, which is Anjetta.
And the 60 and 32 split from each other. The 32 opened up a bit of a gap, and that's going to help them a bit.
That is going to help these two. That is going to help this group back here, especially now they've got that. They definitely have a bit of a sniff off the 19 now.
Yeah, there's another 3/10 gone.
I think Little's losing it a little bit, but I think that's mostly because the draft kind of will strain you out a little bit.
Yeah, the 16 is drafting to the 19. She has to get past this 19 quickly. 19 goes up the track.
She actually got a pretty solid run to do so very quickly, so.
And there she goes. She clears Handstrom there.
AWSCO did gain a little bit, and Jetta gained a lot. 2.3 seconds now the gap.
Tenths. They are definitely faster. I think now it's just a matter of
getting by the lap car.
The next cycle starts. Well, I think these two are going to get by the 19 pretty all right.
They're gonna get by. They're gonna get by fine.
Yeah. So it's just seeing if you've got enough laps left in this run to catch up to those leaders and get in the mix there. Not really a gain that last time by.
Yeah, and Jetta was by herself for a good portion of that lap, in fairness. So, but they're close enough to where you can kind of see them in that same shot.
Abby Little poses back in on the back bumper, the 16. .2.
Gained it again. Again, these front two are kind of splitting apart a decent bit.
Yeah, there's almost half a second between them. But the 60 is closing back in.
Yeah.
And the 1 and the 6 continue to fight each other for the 6th position.
Yep.
So they've both gotten past Rigatino.
These are 3 cars that have all been eliminated from the playoffs.
Under 2 seconds.
AWSCO gained a lot, and Jetta and Little also gained a lot.
Yeah, and Jetta and Little are really starting to work together pretty well here, and that could put them back into the battle for this win, although the 71 is peeking the nose underneath.
Well,
and the 32 sliding up the track. That's going to help the 3rd and 4th place cars. The 27's in, though.
27's in. That's one of the early pitters.
Yeah, so this cycle looks like it's about to start. They couldn't quite get there in time, but they did get pretty close to them, so if they get a good pit stop, then they can join this battle for sure.
Absolutely. And the 16 and 71 were some of the late pitters, to be fair, here as well. And they're not, I don't think they're losing that much time here, even battling, which is kind of weird. Yeah, look, they gained.
They gained 2 tenths.
They gained 2
tenths.
tenths.
2 tenths last time, yeah. They still got a little bit of tire in them, so I think that's really what's making the main difference in this stage, but we're going to start seeing them pit within a couple laps. Might even see one of the leaders come in this time, but they both stay out. And they might
And Garson was one of the very early jumpers, to be fair, so...
Yeah, they might be close enough to get a little bit of a draft off that 60 car. But they're side by side for 3rd again. .71 and 21 now side by side.
I think the 71 will hold on to that. Down to a second, by the way, is the gap.
Yeah,
I think they'll have a bit of a draft now on these
Definitely
front
in the draft now.
And that's only going to help them if they go side by side.
Especially if they do this again, yeah.
Despite the fact that we've had a long green flag run, we're about to hit our, 3rd green flag pit cycle of this run?
That would be cycle number 3. But we still got 5 cars, all within a second of each other.
Yeah. .26 and 96. This is the battle for 7th right here. Rugatino's really been slipping. Yeah, and Jetta has closed up. This is basically a 5-car group now.
19's back out. She came into the pits. It's just a matter of when we see the rest of them come in. Because we saw those early ones come in already, but it's been a few laps and we haven't seen anyone other than the 19.
Well, 19 is
Here comes
also off the
16.
lead lap. And Jetta looks to the inside
Oh,
for...
there you go. Battle for position. I saw a couple other cars come into the pits, so we might see a few of the leaders peel off very soon.
Who's in? Vebelston, Barino.
99.
Okay.
Oh, the 3. When
He
did
has
the 3
some-
get damage?
So yeah, some side damage. Okay, Alicantes. That's the first big one.
There you go. No one from this group of 5 yet. But Injetta's going to get a run here.
Looking for the race lead.
Going to try get the lead away
She'll
from
get it.
AWSCO. That's going to get the crowd excited again.
Now, what do you do if you're Abby Little? You're a playoff driver. You want to get that bonus point. Do you maybe stay out just a tad bit longer just to get that bonus point?
Well, I think if
It
you've got
hasn't
the
hurt her.
tires to do it, if you've got the tires to do it, I think you could definitely try that.
It hasn't really hurt her staying out long. I mean, the 16 and 71 were some of the who stayed out the longest on that last cycle. Look where they are now. They're 1-2.
We've got just under 80 laps to go. They should be able to make it on one more stop after this. Alicantes is now
Alicantes is
rejoining
exiting
the
in front
racetrack
of these
in
cars.
front of the leaders.
32's in. 32 is in.
And the 32 comes in. Yeah, I thought either her or the 60 would be the first one to come in, and here comes Rareston. I'd honestly expect the 60 to come in next time by, now that she's seen Rareston come into the pits.
Madison.
Okay, so there was an oil leak on the 19, and it looked like there was a very small leak in the oil line. Thankfully, did not turn into a fire or anything of the sort that tends to happen with oil leaks, but they did manage to spot it, and they brought the car in, but a very unfortunate way to end the race.
Pretty sure that car's still going, though. We
thought-
see it. Yeah, she's still running.
Yeah, she rejoined the track, so... I mean, I don't know if that's really going to affect her that much if they fixed it fast.
Well, she also, I guess she was also pretty well on cycle with the rest of the stops, too,
Yeah.
so...
I thought it was a scheduled stop.
Alicantes on those fresher tires trying to get past that 16. I believe the 60 is coming in.
Yeah. AWSCO is now in.
This is a monster.
So
of
is
a group team.
Rigatino.
Rigatino's in. That makes sense. She was one of the earliest to come in.
I think she came in the previous lap. She's exiting now.
Here we go.
Little's going for the lead.
Little wants the lead. Little wants that point.
Well, you won't have to stay out any extra laps if you just take it from her. Oh, but she slid up in the middle of the corner, and the 19 is going to close
She
right
got-
onto the back
she
of
got
her because
real
she's got
loose.
fresh tires.
She got real loose mid-corner.
Yeah, that was her chance right there, but she just couldn't get it to stick on the bottom. I believe the 21 has come in.
Yes, she has. Because I don't see her anywhere except for on pit road. Wow.
Yep.
You know, that would make
Imagine that.
sense. That would make sense if she came to pit road and I saw her on pit road.
Well, the 19 is going to push the issue here with the 71 car.
Being a
It's
bit
from off
annoying.
the lead lap.
Again, if you're that 71 and that 16, these two stayed out very long last cycle. So
You're probably going to stay out long again. Just keep riding that strategy. It's been working for them. They got the lead right at the end of that.
now I believe with where they're coming to pit road, I believe we're going to be just outside the window.
Here
16's
comes
in.
16.
71's
And
going
the
to stay
71
out
stays
an extra
out,
lap.
Like he said, she's going to get that bonus point for leading a lap.
1 point, 1 extra point for Little. She will get the lap led. And that
And I
is
imagine
very
once she's got-
crucial.
Once she's got that 1 point, she just comes into the pits right afterwards and says, "All right,
Yeah.
give me those fresh tires. That's all I wanted." And that cycle, you said, it's lap 258. We're going to have about 70 laps to go, and that cycle is about 60, 65 laps. So this last pit sequence should be very late in the race, and that'll make things very interesting if we stay green.
Yeah, if we stay green. I think if we have a caution, everyone comes to pit road and everyone's going to be on equal tires the rest of the race. It would kind of end like the Continental race.
Yeah, that's what we saw in that first sequence.
Little gets that lap led. Schliesenbach now the leader. She came down pit. Looks like she stayed on an extra lap.
Schliesenbach is now in. Yeah, I believe everybody else has come in now.
Yes, I believe so. Holding on that, but I believe everyone is on. I believe everyone that had to make a stop has come down. Interestingly, Yappy Malixon has actually gotten ahead of Carly Bird now.
Happeman is behind them both.
Yeah.
And Big Jasmine. Oh, look out. They're side by side off the pits. This did not end well last time, but they sorted it out.
Yeah, they figured it out. Yeah, Little did lose
64 is coming in.
Little lost a decent bit of ground, but she didn't lose a lot. There's the 21. She's with the 60 and the 32 now.
Yeah. She
And
pitted
these are...
a lot later than the 32 and the 60 did, and she's still in this group.
Yes.
That was a great pit stop for the 21.
16, 96, there's the 71, there's the 26. The 23 is now 8th.
Great run for Yappy.
Somehow, some way, Yappy Malixon always finds a way to get herself up towards the top 10.
And what's interesting is 4th, 5th, and 6th are all running by themselves, so the top 3 is going to gap them. And
yeah.
There you go, Hondayo. Hondayo's
Takes
still
second.
second.
She's second. They've got lap cars kind of... Oh, well...
Oh, she just blew up.
Well, they did have lap cars. And now they have one lap car.
That's another playoff contender with issues.
Mika Haurina.
Same... Man. Just like her teammate. Boy, if you're Sinley or Rariston, you see all your teammates blowing up, and you gotta be nervous for this last 70 laps or so. What if mine's next?
Yeah, and I mean, Nihale has already had problems too, although I believe Nihale's problems were unrelated.
Yeah, I think Nihale had, I think, a bit of front-end damage, so I think she might have gotten into something.
So the 32's taken second.
Four seconds up on the 16.
Yeah, and Jetta's a bit of a ways back, but she is on fresher tires. So we'll see if fresher tires mean much. Although I don't think they're going to mean much when she's by herself. Now,
she's on her own.
Little's been caught up to by this group, so...
I think once this group gets up to her, then things will get interesting, and they'll have a chance to catch up to the top 3. But
yeah.
The top 3 also have a couple of lap cars that are up to speed, that are with them, and the 93 car.
Yeah, they also have this car.
The 93 car is going to get... The 93 is going to get in the 60's way. That's going to let Rariston get underneath. Nope, never mind. AWSCO's going to shut the door. Rariston's going to force it, though.
They were just trying to figure out any way to just subvert what you were saying.
Yeah, they got the 27 behind them, and they got a couple more in front of them.
Well, 27 I wouldn't say is up to speed. 52...
Yeah, the 27.
52 I think was up to speed when the 34 was in that group, but... Now that the 34 is out, I don't think that that's going to be that great.
And Jetta's actually back under 4 seconds.
Yeah, she gained, although that is partially because of the lap traffic, so...
Yeah.
Second place at stake here. AWSCO and Wandayo. doing that battle. We have been green since lap 72, 73. I don't remember what lap the restart was, but
Almost 200 laps of green flag racing, and
yeah.
been a very clean race here today at Oregon.
Ellie,
Yeah, I'm down here in the pits right now, and it looks like what took Harina out of the race, because I'm pretty sure they are going to be taking that car out of the race. The damage is really bad. It ended up being the gearbox.
that's pretty unfortunate. And it's also unfortunate. Audie Stoneman, pole sitter for this race. She's about to
had
get
an
lapped.
up and down day.
She's about to get lapped.
Yeah, she started on pole. She dropped back early, managed to get herself back in the top 10, and now she's outside the top 25, about to get lapped. So, pretty up and down day for the 10 car. And the 60 and the 21 are about to catch the 2 car.
Yep. Oh, they'd already caught the 2 car.
AWSCO is going to get past her. Gap back to Injetta is now about 5 seconds.
Fastest lap right now belongs to AWSCO still. And it is
Next
two.
lap car is Marisha Vebolst.
Yep, it's the 99. She's already 2 laps down. And I was saying it's going to be difficult for her to get laps back under cautions. It's usually really difficult if you don't have cautions to get laps back with.
Yeah, that makes it a lot more difficult when you don't have those cautions. But Vebolst is blocking the heck out of the 32, as you would expect her to do.
Yeah, these two know each other fairly well. They both came out of the ERR development line. Although Rarison obviously has left that.
Here.
Rarison has obviously left that line.
She's put quite a gap on the 60 and the 21 car.
Okay, in fairness here as well to the 16, she's kind of stuck in some lap traffic right now as well.
Yeah, there's a lot of lap cars around her, and the 96 is going to get caught by that pack back there, and I imagine the 16 is going to be next here soon.
That will probably help this 96.
They're about 7 seconds back of the 32 car.
There's 12th place Valicia Vancy.
Oh boy.
I think the 10 actually took her lap back, and now that's a battle for the lead with AWSCO on Cinlia Rariston. Those two go side by side.
It's getting pretty crazy up here. The lap cars are not being very friendly with these leaders. The 99 actually somehow got out in front of the 32 again. And so did Stoneman. And AWSCO's going to try and get the lead back.
I'm not really sure how they did that, but they managed to do that. AWSCO's trying to get the lead back, but still fairly bunched up right now. Now this group, this is where I'd expect all the interesting thing to happen. But as well, I want to say that final stop, if we go green to the end,
it's going to be very late. I'll be interested to see if any of these cars maybe try to stretch it. Maybe some of these cars try to take 2 tires. Because we're so close to the end of the race, we might see a little bit of unusual strategy in the last cycle of the race. And
yeah, that's what I'm thinking. What are you going to do strategy-wise? Because everybody's going to have to make a stop. You're not going to be able to make it. You're going to be about 10-ish laps short. 5 to 10 laps short. Never mind, caution is out.
oh, and there you go.
Oh, Tosima.
Oh, that's a big crash. Tosima.
Abby
and the
Little.
9, and the 71.
31's
and the
in it.
31. That's more playoff drivers.
And the 46 just ran into the 1. Well,
So you know what we were saying about that strategy?
whoa! That was close.
Oh.
Oh, no, and Dio's
She's gonna
wrecking
get-
coming to across the line.
Oh no! Well, they were racing a little too hard there, back to the line. Watch out, watch out. Well, things went to hell in a handbasket real fast there. And everybody's gonna come in.
Everybody's going to come to pit road. That was a major accident. Now, the 10 of Stoneman
make
is
it.
the free pass car. I don't know if she'll even be able to take that free pass.
Oh, and she runs into the back of Malixon.
And the 64 is blowing up in front of these cars.
Is that another engine failure, or is that crash damage?
Well, that is a absurd way to end that green flag run that we had. Yeah, 64 is done.
We go about 200 laps of green, and then it ends like that. And that looked like that crash off of turn 4 that we were worried about this entire race. And Amani Huandayo. Oh man, the 26 is out of
Shantase
the
is
race.
done. 38, 13, 19, 22, 82. I believe the 16 is out of pit road first. Now, I will want to cross-check that, but I believe the 16 did just win the race out of pit road. There will be a lot of cars that take the wave around because the pace car picked them up weird.
You'll have to see when the ticker updates next time by what exactly the running order is right now.
Now, the 10 of Stoneman is the free pass car, and she is coming back on her track, so...
And that ruined the good runs for a lot of drivers. 71, 31.
Alright,
But you do not want that blue banner on your car.
I guess not. The leader is officially the 16 Vegeta.
Well, there you go. It's going to be a lot of waving.
Yes, there is. Well, let's see if we can figure out what in the world just happened. Alright. Looks like it was these lap cars. The 93 drifts up the track in front of her teammate. Oh!
Ooh. That's a team kill.
And
then
these
up
cars
ahead,
checked
the
up.
71,
Those
the
cars
71 and
checked
31
up.
ran into each other.
These cars all checked up here because of the accident. And the 71 kind of just got bounced around a bunch of cars.
Yeah, the 26 ran into the back of the 71. And then got sideswiped by the 6, got into the wall, and then the 31 ran into her.
And these cars were racing to take the caution flag.
The Hondaio's got the lead here.
Monda's got the lead, but she's not
60
clear of
gets
the
a
32. They
big
went,
run off the corner.
and then
Oh, you see what happened there is she sideswiped AWSCO. That upset her car, and she came across the nose of the 32.
all right, 10 will be waved first. We're probably gonna have to do an extra lap of yellow. Just
Yeah.
all right. So the 16 is the leader. Yatako will be waved. Vancy will be waved. Barino's waved. Tolerone. Javida. Alicia Byrne. Yanaga. Yiria. The 8. 38. the 13, the 19, and the 82. Now, the top 10 wave around will also take place here. So, our top 10 right now is, as it stands, Angetta.
I think what that's gonna mean is that everybody that was not on the lead lap is gonna gain a lap because there were only 9 cars that were not on the tail end of the lead lap.
Yeah.
After all that was done.
23, the 6, the 96.
Might need to add another lap of yellow.
32, 21, the 60, the 9, and the 71.
"31's not."
She'll wave by on the outside here once they get to the corner. I hope.
We need to add another lap of yellow, or it might be too late now.
Well, it's kind of... Well, if she's not going by now, she won't go by at all, so... You just kind of gotta leave it. Alright, we're about to go green. And Jetta leads. Yappy Malikson is now second.
Yami McJasmine third. And the 31 is not going.
Yeah, she didn't go.
There's going to be a lot of drivers not happy with her.
I don't think the 71 went very well either. Here comes Yappy for the race lead. She's been nowhere all day until now.
Mondayo trying to keep up after that accident. But
She's got no
she
rear
doesn't have a
bumper,
rear
but...
end anymore. Yeah.
And when does that stop people? She sees
She's
a
not
teammate
quite
in
up
the
to
lead.
pace with these cars.
Okay. We have a lot of pit reports to get to. Ellie, you start, and then go to Madison.
All right, I've got reports on the 64 and the 8 car. The 64 ended up having really bad engine damage. I'm not exactly 100% sure on what it is. I could get an update with the pit crew real quick before I get into the 8 car. They just retired for engineering, I'm hearing. They never specified what. But the 8 car ended up having a tire down right before that whole big crash. I believe Schliesenbach might have pitted before that crash, which, I don't know, I guess if you're her, yippee.
Yeah, so the 82 also had an issue during that break, and now that I've met a crew chief that wasn't just, playing Fortnite during the race, I have accurate information. It actually was an oil leak, and that should be at least crippling, probably terminal for the 82, so yeah, really not a great way for them to end the race.
I guess that crew chief was also playing Fortnite.
82's still out there.
She's
There
still
was a
out there.
close
She
moment
isn't
right
even that
there.
slow, honestly.
Yeah, there was a close
In fact,
moment
she's
there
on the
with
lead
two
lap.
Car.
She might get a top 10.
The 2 car merged in front of the leaders there, and I
Yeah,
thought
that was-
might have caused an issue, but they got by with relatively no issues. But Rairston's back in first now, Malikson second, and Jetson third.
Yeah, that yellow really shook up the running order. But also a lot of it is, a lot of these cars just kind of got shuffled around, especially because the 31 just did not go.
The 15 is in the top 10.
Yeah, Tabrizia Toleron is having a pretty solid run. There's Valicia Vancy, there's Bria Delad. By the way, Yappy Malikson led a lap. She's the third playoff driver to do so today.
How about Red Racing as a whole having a pretty good run right now?
Yeah. How about McJasmine running 5th? Sky and Jetta coming up.
Jetta's gonna get try and get second here.
Yeah, but she's got Rugatino chasing her. Yappy Malikson's trying to hang on to the spot. I think Jetta has a car that can compete here for the win. The question just remains if she'll actually do it. The 60 is really far back. She's fallen back to 22nd. I'm not sure what happened as Abby Little's come down pit road.
Possibly damage repair on the 71. She was involved in that most recent accident. Well, here we go. The front four all together here. Here comes Yappy.
Here comes Yappy.
Close the gap on Rariston. It's gonna get underneath here.
Rariston's got that high side, though.
Yeah, the 23 didn't have that much grip on the bottom.
23 does have a little bit of damage.
He's going to be able to clear before the corner.
Ellie.
So again, I'm down here, down in pit road, and I just got done speaking with the 71 team's pit chief, and it looks like she ended up having an oil leak. They believe it probably stems from the crash that happened prior. Not the best for that team.
Yeah, just more issues for Abby Little. Abby Little was having such a good race, and then that crash just... everything fell apart after that. Yappy Malikson trying to go around the outside here as they close in on the 71 car. Which lane is the 71 going to go into? She's gonna, I guess, take the top. And that's going to help the 32 car of Rariston.
That's not even going to really hurt either car here, really. She actually stayed out of the way decently.
Yeah, she got in the way of the 23 a little bit, but not too much. 23 is going to be back behind. She's going to have another shot to get the lead here.
Not bad enough to hurt the
16 and 96 lurking behind, and then the 6 is barely hanging on.
The 3 is off the lead lap, but...
hey, you know what? If she catches a yellow, she'll be back on the lead lap.
that is true. She's first car off the lead lap. There's a caution.
We saw that 3 was pretty fast at the start of the race, but she kind of fell back.
I think she's fast right now, too.
Yeah, she had that damage as well, and yeah, that car still has some speed in it. If she could just get a break here, she could. She could be a factor. As Rugatino goes to the inside of Jet for third.
This is easily Jetta's best run of the season. There's been a lot of rumors swirling around Jetta, especially at that Southwest Racing team, considering, you know, that team's had some poor performance, and Jetta's run well in that car, but hasn't really been able to get the finishes.
She also missed a race earlier in the year. I think she missed 2 races earlier in the year.
She missed a race, and the second race, she stepped out in the middle.
Yeah, there was a driver change in the second one.
Yeah.
That was after that accident at Fontana, I believe.
Fontana, yes.
I think out of these 4, Rariston's definitely got the fastest car, but Malikson is definitely up there. I think that damage is really keeping Rariston from truly pulling away from them, but Rugatino's been passing these cars pretty well, too. She's trying to go for second now. Now that she's on the same tires as everybody, she's able to keep up with them.
How about Andrea Davison?
22.
Remember where she was like 20th whole race. She's 5th. She's gonna
Yeah,
get another top 10.
I saw her just outside of the top 10 earlier, and you know, it's part of the look at how Red Racing is doing, and here she is up in the top 5 again, just continuing to get that streak going. Davison honestly looking like the championship favorite right now. Definitely the best driver as of late. She might catch up to this front four. She might have a shot at this win. Especially if she falls that 3, because that 3 is pretty fast.
Rugatino's gotten clear for second.
And they're catching the 31 here, Happeman.
You know, after
That's such
all
a
that
shame.
happened today, I can't believe I'm saying that the top 2 playoff drivers at the moment are Malikson and Davison.
There's a reason why they've been 2 of the best drivers this year. They always find a way.
Rugatino looks to the inside, tried to go for the lead, but Rarison shuts the door.
And there you go. Davison is now in this pack, so
Yeah,
it's
she's
now a
caught this group.
5-car race.
Hey, Alicia Burns in this group now as well. Or Alicia Burns in the top 10 again.
82.
Yeah, Katrin
82
Edelstein.
is in 10th.
Katrin Edelstein in the 82 car. She's running 10th. On track for her first top 10. 3 wide here.
Boy. 3 wide. That's for 3rd. Oh, be careful.
They're leaning on each other
Still
here.
3 wide off the exit of 2. The 23 is going to cut down in front of the 16. And that's good news for Davison, as she's going to pass them both. They're still 3 wide with the 3 car.
Here comes Davison for second. And again, she's been nowhere all day. And now she may be looking at potentially challenging for a win.
She's kept herself out of trouble. She's done what she's needed to do, and she's shown up here at the end. She's going to try and run down Rarison for this lead. She caught this lead pack all by herself, basically.
Literally, she did, yes.
And just insert herself into this lead battle. As we are running out of laps. We got about 25 laps to go here at Oregon. We're getting down to the nitty-gritty here. We got 5 cars in contention for this win. And a lot of battling behind them as well. As PJ's trying to hold off the 1 and the 91 for 6th. Her car's a little bit off the pace, so compared to the cars behind her, she got a little bit of damage from that incident off of turn 4.
Yeah.
But she's still holding pretty strong here in that 6 car.
Meanwhile, here comes
And here comes
Davison.
Davison.
Looks for the lead.
She's got the nose.
And she's got the spot.
She made it look easy. She really just caught up to this group of 4, passed them all in like 5 laps, and just took the lead for herself. That 22 is on a roll.
Haven't seen anything from this 22 all day until right now. It just happens when you least expect it. Davison now the 4th playoff driver to lead today, and it's very possible that after all this dominating by the non-playoff drivers, nobody spoils the party anyways.
But we still got the 32 and the 96 right there, so
Oh yeah.
there's still definitely a chance. The 23 and 16 are falling back just a little bit. They're still in the draft of this pack.
Now Rugatino wants second from Rarison. Trying to force
Block in the
that
middle of the corner.
issue. 3 wide back here.
Oh,
There's
the 6 is gonna get
Alacantes.
split here.
There's Alacantes back there.
I think the 6 benefited from the 31 not going on that restart, and that's how she was able to stay up in the top 10 for so long. But now those faster cars have caught up to her.
You know, I wouldn't be surprised if we see this 18 up towards the front by the end of this race either. She looks pretty strong right now, too.
Alacantes has been very fast in this race, even after getting put into the wall and spun out to bring out the first yellow of the day. It has not seemed to affect her very much. The 55 slides up a little bit. That could give the 18 the nose, but she's
That doesn't
not
go
going to
for
make
it.
the move.
3 wide back here,
3
though.
wide behind.
Edelstein, Tolerone, McJasmina.
PJ just does not have the car under anymore. She's got that damage that's really hindering her, so she's just trying to get as good a finish as she can get. And we got this group right here, led by Schliessenbach.
Davison holds it, but here comes the 32. That 32's not... That 32 isn't done.
32's been up front the entire race.
Yeah, same for the 96.
Yeah, they've been two of the fastest cars all day. Davison has really come alive here in this last part of the race. So we'll see if the 32 and 96 will have anything for her, as we got about 19 laps to go this time by.
19 to go. And looking back here as some battles as well. There's Bria DeLaude fighting with Valicia Vancy. 7th spot.
Alicante is going to follow her on the inside lane.
Yep, and that will gain the 18 a position.
And that'll put her up to 8th. Rugatino looking maybe not going to have enough momentum to make a move there, but they're catching another lap car.
Yep, the 60. That's AWSCO. She was so fast for this
AWSCO.
whole race, and now that car is well off
What
the pace.
happened to AWSCO?
Might have had damage. Davison's got to be careful here. This could drag the 16 and 23 back in here. Davison will get through. I'm not sure what happened to the 60, but she might have had some kind of involvement in whatever was going on pit road or in the accident.
You know, but she wasn't in either of the accidents, so it had to have been something in the pit lane. We're under the yellow.
Are we? Oh wait,
No, I didn't say we're under the yellow. I said or.
I misheard you. Yeah.
It's been a long race. It's all right.
That's what 500 miles will do to you.
Oh yeah, I believe this is absolutely for certain the longest race in Oregon's history.
Oh yes.
It's been very interesting to watch this play out.
It's very fun though. I think this is a great race, and that this track is just cementing itself further.
We'll see if this lead battle heats up any in these last 15 laps. The 22 has just been kind of took control of it once she got the lead. 55 way up the racetrack. It's a chance for Vancy to get to 7.
Yeah, and that could also that could help. That could get Alicante's a position. She's got the 82 of Edelstein pressuring in here as well. And Alicante's might try to get them both here.
I feel like I've already seen this one a few laps ago, but she didn't go for the move. But and she didn't go for it this time either. She didn't have enough momentum to make it work. But
I thought you were gonna say we were
That'll
seeing a
go forward.
repeat of what happened with the 21 and the 60.
no, not quite.
Second
for second.
place, Rugatino taking it to Raritan. Back here, 5th place, Malikson and Engetta.
4th place.
Yes, 4th place.
Alicante's underneath the 1, 82 under the 55.
That'll be 7th. That goes to the
Side
18
by side
there.
for just about every position up here in the top 10.
Yeah. We're almost we've almost run 500 miles, and there's still great battling all over the track. There's still 23 cars on the lead lap. They've built a great facility in Oregon. Meanwhile, back here, there's some positions. There's Yenfi Yanaga. How about Yania Waterton managing to get up to 17th? She's kind of just stayed out of everything. She's been kind of... I don't know. I haven't really remarked on the 13 all day.
Waterton has been pretty slow the entire race, but she stayed out of trouble, and that's what's kept her up here in the top 20. And
Yep.
Yanaga, I want to point out, she's running in 20th, but honestly, considering how all the other playoff drivers have gone, this is going to be a pretty good points day for her.
Yeah, probably. We're at our Windows 11 to go.
32.
We are at our
Back
Windows
around the 96.
our Windows 11 to go. Andrea Davison, the driver from Hamilton, Ontario, leads the way with about a half a second out front of Cynthia Raristow, Angeli Rugatino, Yappy Malikson, and Skyan Jetta making up the rest of the top 5. A topsy-turvy day for playoff drivers. It looked like Raristow and Rugatino were going to dominate this one at the end. It looked like Skyan Jetta had a great shot. It looked like Abby Little might be the only playoff driver that had a shot at the win. And if I told you about an hour ago we'd be watching the 22 pull away from the 32 and 96 in the lead of the race, you'd probably have called me crazy.
Well, that's not going to help them there, the 2-car.
It's really not going to help them if they go side by side.
Yeah, that's going to make the... going 3 wide is going to make it worse. That 22 is just pulling away all by herself.
Yeah, she's getting
Absolutely
away.
impressive. Now, I have seen late cautions at this track before. In fact, the LSCI race had a crash on the final lap of the race, so you can't rule that out to throw a wrench into things.
There's Perry Alicantes getting by Alicia Byrne. That's her teammate, making it up to 6th.
Yeah, it's going to be a good day for Alicantes as well in the points.
Yeah, I think that might be as many positions as she's going to be able to make up, though.
Yeah, I don't think she's going to be able to get to the 16, so just maximizing as much as she can do in that situation.
Madison?
Pretty good day if you spin out and still get a top 10.
Not a very good day for the 31, though, who had one of the head gaskets fail, unfortunately. That should be a race ender, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct. Taylor Happman is out of the race.
That's another car that was in that accident. That's another playoff car having mechanical problems, but I imagine those two things were linked just like it was with the 71.
5 laps to go.
And they're fighting each other for second. This is not what you want to be doing with 5 laps to go.
Yeah, with the especially with that big lead that the 22's got. And the 96 got a
96
little
sliding up.
loose.
Oh, you don't want to let the 3 under there. They're not gonna.
Well, she didn't.
They're still side by side.
They keep fighting. Rugatino, I think she's going to get clear.
Well, here we go. This is going to be her shot right here.
32's back to the outside. I kind of forced the 96 out of her line a little bit. And she slides through. She slid through the corner there.
That was a solid corner, though. She gained quite a bit of time on Davison through there.
She did.
0.34, although the 32 might disrupt it again. But if these two can work together, they're going to have time to catch up to the 22 and maybe try for a...
And the 82's blowing up on the apron. Well, she was running top 10.
More mechanical woes for the 82. Well, another good corner for the 96. Hold on.
Oh, that
this
was a
might not be
great
over
run
yet.
for Rugatino. Coming to
This
2 to
isn't
go.
over yet. Here we go. 2
Coming
to
to
go.
2 to go.
Oh, but the 32 not going to get under the 96.
It's going to be a 3-car fight.
They're catching the lap car, Janet Parkings.
Davison, is she going to get by? Not easily. Okay, she'll get cleared.
Ooh.
She'll get through.
Here comes the 32 under the 96. The 96 is going to get held up. That's going to be the end of her shot to win, I think.
No, I don't think so. I think she's got one more. I think she's got to hang on. White flag, 1 lap to go. 93 is on pit road. Rarison's going to have a
Get a good run
shot.
off of 2. Oh, I don't know if that was good enough.
She's closing a little bit, but she's going to have to make it happen in turn 4.
I think it's going to have to be a mistake from the 22 here.
I don't see any mistake being made. Davieson's
She's got
going to
it.
go to victory lane for the second time this year. Andrea Davieson, out of nowhere. Winning in Oregon. Fabrizia Tolrone is going to get that 10th place position.
Great run for her.
Yeah, that's something she's needed for a while. That's her
What a
fifth.
great run by Davieson.
What a race.
Great race.
That was an
Yeah.
amazing race.
She had to work for that one. 32 and 96 got a real good run on her. 3 laps to go, and she had to hold off their their shots at her, but they weren't quite able to get around her. And at the end of 500 miles, first 3 cars
We're
were within a quarter of a
yeah.
second.
500 miles and only 2 yellows to complement that too.
Yeah.
But overall, that was a really fun race, a really enjoyable race, and this track put on a great show. With that being said, what are your thoughts, and who do you think stands out to here, and what do you think this will do in the playoff picture?
Yeah, this was a fantastic race. We had quite a few different leaders in this one. Had some points where we thought we figured out who was going to be the best car, and I don't think anybody thought it would be Davieson until the very end. Just kind of nowhere, stayed out of trouble, took advantage of the yellow at the end, and rocketed that car up into the lead pack, past everybody, and nobody could get back by her as soon as she got the lead. There's a reason why she's one of the favorites to win the championship, and she just showed it here at Oregon. That's, I believe, now 10 top 10s in 12 races. That's absolutely insane with as close as the cars are here. She is doing some amazing things for Red Racing here. Rariston and Rugatino were up front the whole race. They both get second and third. Yabby Malikson, another one of those drivers, just like her teammate, just kind of shows up at the end, and she ends up with a top 5. Same thing for Sky and Jetta. Great run for her. And yeah, there was a lot of issues for the playoff drivers. A lot of them finishing towards the back of the field. So even if you're somebody like Yenfi Yanaga, who finished 16th, that's still a great day for her, because she gained a lot of points on a lot of the cars around her, and a lot of mechanical failures as well, especially for the playoff drivers. Some of them related to accidents, some of them not, but it was a great show from start to finish. We had a lot of battling going up at the front in this one, and it was fun to watch.
Yeah, a real fun race here tonight as we conclude our broadcast here from Oregon. We're going to take you down to the FanDuel Fan Studio with Madison and Ellie. They'll have not only the updates on, they'll have not only their analysis on the race finish, but they'll also have the updates on our playoffs, on our standings after the race, and a preview for next week at Talladega. You two, take it away down there.
And here we are, a few questionable pit reports later, and some very good racing here at Oregon. And it's the post-race show. It's a lot to unpack, Ellie. What do you think?
What I think that was a great race, and a lot of interesting things happened really quickly. That caution really changed the whole entire race. That crash was ridiculous, and the whole field in terms of the playoffs is going to be kind of interesting from this. Points is going to be interesting.
Definitely, yeah. I think with Andre Davieson, of course, she qualified closer to the front in this race, 6th actually. We kind of talked about earlier how we expected the drivers who qualified mediocre or lower in the field to do better, but in the ultimate result, it doesn't really seem like that was the correct premise, although there's way more context to that. Of course, Davieson ultimately having a good finish, and as far as others that qualified well among playoff drivers, none really that close to the front, honestly. But, actually, Yappy qualified decently well and finished near the front, but really the whole premise of drivers who qualify near the front among the playoff drivers, and they'll fall back further during the race. Not really that convincing in hindsight, but that's just how these races are. That caution really did change everything.
Well, yeah, I mean, again, the premise that we kind of went into the race, it didn't really account for a caution or for a massive wreck. So, I mean, I get it's kind of a more so an issue of if that crash never happened, but it happened and that's reality. So it changed everything. Realistically here, Andrea Davison, going into this race, I expected her to do pretty solidly, and I'm not too surprised that she did solidly. She was pretty good in the points in round 1 anyways. So I think this is a great race for her and kind of a great start to round 2. You know, she picked up that momentum from round 1 and just took it straight into round 2.
Yeah, I agree, honestly. In as much as sort of cautions go, we went into this not expecting much because, well, the Continental race, there weren't many, and in this race, there really weren't many at all. Like, you know, you had the one that was fairly early and a little bit small, but then you had that one, which is a bit more of a bombshell of a caution, so not crazy to have the premise we had, but, well, here we are, and this will definitely shake up the playoff standings quite a bit as we look at our winner, Davison, in particular, and where she is in the standings before the race. Obviously outdated, but she is right on that cut line, now locked into the next round. Then you have drivers like Tosima and Jukovic who are higher up, but will undoubtedly lose some ground. Malkson had a good result for herself, and drivers like Happeman and Little, who were running so well this race at certain points, just are going to have a lot of their progress erased. We'll have the ultimate standings for you pretty soon, I hope, but a lot to go over for sure.
Definitely a lot to go over, and honestly what happened here is going to make Talladega even more interesting because, well, the drivers who ran really well here but ended up having problems, I actually expect them to probably do well at Talladega, about the same, if not better, especially given they didn't have the race they wanted here. That's just going to give them more of a drive to, well, I can pick back up where I left, repair my car, get a better car, and we'll be able to get a good drafting partner and do well in Talladega. I definitely expect Talladega to be a great race.
Yeah, but I think it's a little bit more chaotic as we do have the standings here. Of course, Andre Davison locked into that next round, top of the standings, has a win anyway. Yappy Malakson is well above the cut line in position number 2. Then is Perry Alicantes in 3rd. Beard Zalat in 4th. 5th is Yenfi Yanako. 6th is Yania Waterton. 7th is Eva Ajar Sharaj. 8th is Mauricia Vebels, who despite her problems still ends up on the good side of the points. Irini Tosima, despite having some issues, also just barely above. I believe that's 5 points above the cut line. 4 points above for Abby Little despite the crash. Taylor Happeman down 4, then it's Hollis Jukovic down 7, along with Mika Harina. And then you have Jocelyn Nihil and Lily Talberson near the bottom of the pile. How do you think that could impact things going into the next race?
Well, here's the thing. This is the first race into round 2, and the points are bound to shift a lot. Next race is really going to be the race that kind of determines where everybody is in terms of their position in round 2 and in the points. So I feel like this is more so a positioning us for Talladega. This race is basically like the kickoff into Talladega, which is when the real round 2 like starts, I feel. Because Talladega is where things get really chaotic and really crazy, and you have 3 wide and you're not crashing at 3 wide. You can even push for 4 wide sometimes. So I expect some really great racing to come out of that, but I also expect some drivers who are going to be who ended up not in the greatest position now, trying to end up in a better position in Talladega, especially the drivers below the cut line. I could expect Talberson and Nihil trying really hard that race.
I definitely agree, but I think there's some things to be said about desperation because that can really hit at Talladega, but at the same time, it's so easy to make up ground there in a certain sense because you have the draft, and that means even a car that could run, say, 30th on most tracks could even lead laps at the next one. So I think there is definitely a lot to look for as far as Talladega goes. It really is sort of the real climax of that first round, I would say, and then Martinsville is sort of a continuation of that climax. But definitely Talladega, one of those races where you hope you do well, but you may very well not. But what about Martinsville? How do you think maybe chaos at Talladega could set up for, I think, possibly an equal but very different type of chaos in Martinsville?
Well, Martinsville is a very drastically different track from Talladega, and Martinsville is quite a fun track to watch. I feel like Martinsville will kind of it'll be this microcosm of, oh, we already had chaos at Talladega, we're gonna go into more. I don't expect Martinsville's racing to really calm down very much, which is also going to make the whole, I guess, premise of round 2 being chaotic that much more prominent. I feel like the drivers, after they finish at Talladega and however they place and what positions they'll be, whoever does not do that well that race is going to be all that more desperate at Martinsville.
I agree, definitely. And, obviously I mentioned the chaos being different. Talladega, in terms of just length, the longest track on the schedule that is not a road course, at a whopping 2 2/3 of a mile in length, also naturally one of the fastest tracks on the calendar. Martinsville on the opposite end of that spectrum, not the shortest track that we go to, but is definitely one of the shortest. It's the shortest that currently the NASCAR Cup Series goes to, so naturally one of the shortest that we have on the AWSCO schedule. And, it's been described before as 2 quarter-mile drag strips with a U-turn at each end, and that could really lend itself to a lot of madness there. Who do you expect to sort of excel at those sorts of tracks despite the chaos seen at either Talladega or Martinsville?
Well, in terms of excelling at Talladega, which is going to be different from excelling at Martinsville, although,
Sure.
both are chaotic, I think we could easily see Tosima doing good at Talladega, but that's just a given. She just usually does good anywhere. She had mech fails today, but if it was outside of that, she would probably have done a lot better. Other drivers, actually, I could see Brian Zalad doing pretty solidly at Talladega. Brian Zalad is a driver who's kind of excelled in a lot of the more drafting type tracks or longer tracks, and I feel like that kind of pacing is gonna be good for drivers like Zalad, like Tosima. I feel like Little could probably pick things up and do pretty decent there as well.
Definitely, there's a lot to look for in terms of just anything that could possibly go on at a place like either of those 2 tracks. And I suppose we'll have a quick reminder of our races that close the schedule, as we do have a look here. Of course, Talladega and Martinsville, the most chaotic of those, I would say. But of course, we have Laguna Seca opening the falling round, if I'm not mistaken, as we look here. Yes, we do have Laguna Seca opening the next round. Then Atlanta, which is really not that. I guess it's somewhere between Oregon and Talladega in terms of racing type. Then you have the mile track at Rockingham, and then, of course, Homestead, which is mentioned on the pre-race as being somewhat similar to the racing at Oregon. So really a lot to look forward to, and Oregon could really be a telltale sign of what's to come.
Yeah, I agree with your point there. And actually, I want to emphasize on Atlanta. I feel like Atlanta is also another track to look out for. It's a bit different from these, actually, in terms of, I guess, the racing style and the kind of strategy you have to get down. The cars are definitely going to have to be built to be very handling heavy. That's going to be the big story out of Atlanta for sure. And I feel like that's going to be very fun to watch. That kind of racing, I feel like we haven't seen too much of it in AWSCO, but I'm excited for that nonetheless.
For sure, yeah. Definitely Atlanta, very different from any of the other tracks. It's described as, NASCAR, it's unique. Certainly in AWSCO, it's also probably going to be very unique as well. So definitely stay tuned in, and we, of course, have the racing next week at Talladega, but, of course, the 5 races after that, stay tuned in for that, too. And do you have any closing thoughts before we take things back to our guests in the booth?
That I think about covers it.
Right. Well, on that great way to end things, at least over on this side. We will send it back to the booth so we can close this out.
And a very fun race here from Oregon. Not very long for 500 miles, I will say. We have Andrea Davison taking the checkered flag, surprising everybody. I don't think any of us really thought she had much of a shot at that until the final few laps. But Andrea Davison wins. Next week we're at Talladega, and we have 6 more races until the season ends. After that, Talladega in Continental and Cup next week. We hope to see you there. On behalf of Brennan, Ellie, and Madison, I'm Echo. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. I will see you all in the next one. See ya!